戦争は変わった。一つの時代が終わり、俺たちの戦争は終わった。
War has changed. It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. War and its consumption of life has become a well-oiled machine. War has changed. Verified soldiers carry algorithmic arms, manipulate social influence, AI enhance and regulate their timelines. Memetic control, information control, emotion control, battlefield control. Everything is monitored and kept under control. War has changed. The age of deterrence has become the age of control, all in the name of averting catastrophe from weapons of mass destruction. And he who controls the battlefield controls history. War has changed. And when the battlefield is under total control, war becomes routine.
Think outside the cage.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. See, there's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Crime News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is January 12th, 2026. We are live to tape on episode 906, and today, World War Q. Signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit films and author of Archetypalism, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. It's a happy Monday.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
And over the weekend, I celebrated Houseplant Appreciation Day. Did you on Saturday?
No, I didn't. I forgot to get my houseplants any gifts.
Yeah, I watered them. Gave him some plant crack, Yeah, get him all happy.
Was late, so I got all of my plants iTunes gift cards.
Perfect. So they can order some stuff online, have it delivered right to the door. Good. The robots and the plants are going to conspire together, folks.
Can you order things from iTunes? Is that how iTunes?
Oh, did I say iTunes? I meant Amazon. I don't know. I'm living in 2010. My brain hasn't really progressed much since back in the day. Before they.
Well, the
changed
good news is. Neither has iTunes progressed for the past years. So you're perfect. You're perfect for each other.
Great.
Okay, well, it's still 2026, which means the wheels of history are grinding along faster than we can keep up with them. I say we jump right into it here, Gonz. We have our opening clip. You'll notice on the document, I did add some breaking news that will transition us into our first thing. But let's start off. I think our starting clip with Kristi Neom is a really good way to really center ourselves and understand. This is good advice for everybody. I'd say this is the advice that maybe we have given for 15, 16 years, whatever it is. I guess maybe 14. Who knows? Who cares? Time is an illusion, baby. But this was Kristi Neom on CNN. A great way to start the show.
I remember a time when Republicans were very careful about and worried about the government, particularly unelected people.
Well, we can't trust the government anymore.
Having access to personal data.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You are the government.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, is that the American people now are saying that we have had our personal information shared and out there in the public.
Elon Musk has access to it.
Yeah, but Elon Musk is part of the administration that is helping us identify where we can find savings and what we do. And he has gone through the processes to make sure that he has the authority.
You're totally
the president has
comfortable
granted
with it.
him. I am today by the work that he's doing by identifying waste, fraud, and abuse. And his information that he has looking at programs, not focusing on personal data and information.
not focusing on it, but he
No.
has access to it.
We'll be continuing to talk to him about what all he has access to. But this audit needs to happen to make sure that we are going through a process that adds integrity back into these programs. And
Okay.
I don't know what she was talking about on the second half there, but the first half I thought was really good advice.
Right. So very interesting, because the interviewer here says, that basically you can't trust the government. Kristi Neom agrees. She goes, yeah, you can't, which is like, okay, we've been saying that for a long time. A lot of people have been saying that. But then she proceeds to say, let's play it again. Let's just get it.
And worried about the government, particularly unelected people.
we can't trust our
having,
government anymore.
having access
That's
to
our
personal data.
Yeah. Oh,
But
absolutely.
you are the government.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So she says we can't trust the government anymore. And then the interview says, but you are the government. She goes, yeah, exactly. Which means do not trust anything I say from here on out. I am lying to you. I mean, if you're paying attention, that's what it means. I mean, I know most people would like to think that it's
love about the Trump administration. If there's not an explicit statement to not believe us, the government, it's really implied in a lot of what you hear out of the Trump administration. And this is one of the, as someone who has the wherewithal to sit back and just kind of watch the polarized teams fight each other, it's one of the really fun things to watch, because the right will say, we can't trust the government. We can't trust the government at all. And the left goes, yeah, we can't trust the government. Trump's the government. We can't trust the government. See what you're saying? And the right goes, yeah, we can't trust the government. You're right.
And then here's what we're doing.
And
even with the Elon aspect of it, saying like, yeah, we support Elon because, he's trying to fix programs or whatever. And she's like, well, doesn't he have all our data? And her response was, yeah, but I don't know if you could hear that. She said, yeah, but, he's helping us fix leaks or be more efficient or whatever it is. And it's kind of like, okay, it's a very sneaky tactic to suggest that your personal data is not part of some, collective, because the way she frames it, it's like, it's not, they're not going after your personal information. We're looking at programs. We're looking at the overall picture. But you listen to what Elon Musk said a long time ago. It's in our jingle.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
We're all connected, Basil. We're all connected. So even if you're not looking at our individual personal data, if you have all of it, you're looking at the collective private data to make decisions for the collective good, for efficiency, for all these things. It's I don't know, it's very well crafted in a way to keep everybody kind of
I get the very simple message out of it from her saying, you can't trust the government. Yeah, but Elon's there. He's getting all of our data. She's like, yeah, because the government has all your data. That's the point. Like, just the news anchor's all worried about Elon Musk as like a personal civilian having access to data, but he only has the access because the government already has it, and you shouldn't trust the government. It's not about Elon as like a. Is this an old clip? Is this sounds like it would be from early in the administration?
I don't know. It seems like it's more recent.
I don't think Elon's in Doge anymore, but this is what everybody was freaking out about earlier in the year. Okay, let's jump over to some breaking news here. This will transition us into our sort of World War Q blitz in a moment. This is breaking and floating around Twitter. There is a clip attached to it. I have not watched the clip because we are starting the show. This is says breaking legislation was just filed in the House authorizing President Trump to take over Greenland for America. Now, in my thing, I said House approved annexation of. Apparently, this is not approved, but they have filed in the House the ability for Trump to grab Greenland. There's a clip attached. Let's see what this clip says.
Let's see. Let me set it up here. Sorry,
this is from about an hour ago, by the way, as well.
An hour ago. It's one of these split screen thingies. So we got like
the bottom Greenland. Is just footage of Greenland.
Okay. Okay. All right, here we go.
He felt very strongly we need it for we need Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and
Why did the guy splice in the Trump thing? Like the airplane taking off of Greenland. It's a terrible decision. Let me finish. Yeah, he'll finish this here.
Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it. And he wanted to leave so we're making him, Marco, today, a special envoy to Greenland.
So Marco Rubio, special envoy to Greenland, huh? All right.
Yeah, Trump's Greenland push escalates as GOP lawmakers move to make it America's 51st state. In the House here, I'm taking this from Fox. A House Republican is pushing for Greenland to become the country's 51st state as President Donald Trump publicly pushes for the Danish territory to come under U.S. rule. Over the weekend, it was very funny. And you know what he's doing? He's going to start a competition to become the 51st state. Canada as a whole is not interested, but Alberta is, kind of into that idea. The Alberta independence movement is continuing. Thousands of people lining up around the block in Alberta to sign the papers for that. He's kind of creating a little competition. Like, hey, who's going to be the 51st state? You want it, Alberta? You want it, Greenland? Over the weekend,
it's been his thing the whole time. It's reality TV. You got to have competition.
It's the Apprentice all over again.
Yeah, it's The Apprentice.
Denmark over the weekend had some feisty words for Trump. Basically, the prime minister or the president of Denmark, I don't know what it is, maybe it was the king, who cares, who knows, was saying, basically, if you want it, come and get it. If we see any American military off the coast of Greenland, we're going to open fire. We're going to leave NATO, which, good for them. This is what they should be saying if they feel this strongly about keeping Greenland. I admire the sort of Denmarkian patriotism. I think they're doing exactly what they should do. But, I don't know if actually firing on the U.S. military off the coast of Greenland is really the most prudent way to handle that geopolitical situation. But they gotta show that Danish strength, that famous Danish strength. So
yeah, we were. Sir Ike had sent us an article weeks ago. It was an old article from like 2021 talking about Bill Gates and Michael Bloomberg and a few others in Greenland setting up shop. And of course, that actually finally made the rounds on the internet a few days ago. And, people bringing up how the technocrats are already there, the billionaires are already there. And that seems to be part of this as well, that I'm seeing some reports of people saying, hey, we already have Greenland. This is all just kind of catching up. The public stuff has to happen now because the internal stuff is already there. There's footage of like Charlie Kirk walking around with Don Jr. in Greenland about a year ago, January 2025. So, the internet's doing its thing, kind of gathering the data and showing that Greenland's kind of been on the map, the target list for a while. And of course, when we look at the... Sorry, you cut out there for a second.
Since 1863.
Well, I was going to say,
Greenland.
The map of the technocrats that we pointed out, and others have pointed out. I think Mel from Truth Stream had the post from like last year. I think it was like January or February of 2025, talking about the Technate map. And that's being resurfaced again and redistributed for all the new truth seekers to learn about this old plan that we've.
I think we should take credit for that. I think we're.
We can. Well, we've been on the technocrat thing.
Who's going to stop us? Nobody can stop us.
That's true. That's true.
What are they going to do? Come and get us. You can't stop us.
Oh, great. Now you're sounding like the president of Denmark.
What are you going to do? Come and take it. Okay, let's jump into World War III. We'll do a little blitz here for all the updates over the weekend.
World War III. Down there.
I see you have the old clip up there, Gons. If you go in there now, you can open up the clip that I stalled starting the show to find the correct clip. The correct clip is in there. But
it's not the correct clip?
Nope, I'm looking at it. That's the one that you put in there. I corrected it by putting in the, correct clip. So Venezuela seems like a lifetime ago now. That's continuing on. But there has been some, I guess, some breakdown, some debriefing that's been making its way around the internet. One of the very interesting points being made was from one of the Venezuelan security guards or security forces on the night of the American operation in Venezuela. And he comes in with some insight, some boots on the ground reporting. Now, the original video of this fella saying this stuff was all in Spanish, but the clip that I got us there, Gantz, is a fellow reading it to us in English, and it's got
So
some
you're just
very
talking about the clip that's next to the second clip in the same post. Is that what you're talking about? The one with this dude here?
I don't know. Is it 2 minutes long? If you just click on
it's
the
2 minutes
link
and 10
that I
seconds.
put in there,
There's
is it the
2
wrong
video
link?
clips in the link you gave me.
Settle down, Gonzo.
There are 2
Settle
clips.
down.
I mean, I'm looking right at it.
One in
It was
English. It's the one in English. It's okay.
Okay,
It's too
so-
early in the show to get so riled up, Gons.
No, I'm just saying. You yell at me for not having the right link up, but I'm literally clicked on it.
It's
You
a
know,
Monday,
just-
folks. Give them a break.
I'm
It's a
just
Monday.
you're yelling at me
Let's-
for things that so I'm going to yell back. Okay, here it is.
Yelling at you,
A
Gonzo.
security
Settle
guard that
down.
was protecting Maduro has spoken, and you got to hear what he said. It's in Spanish, but I'll translate. Also, Trump announced that the cartels, they're going after him in Mexico. The whole vibe of Latin America has changed because of what happened in Venezuela, and now that we're getting firsthand accounts from people that were there. The soldier says they didn't hear him coming. He says the Americans had technology superior to anything they've ever seen. Everything that they were using for radar, for anything, was completely taken offline. They had drones, and the drones were taking out bases and taking out things faster. They didn't have no technology. They've never had to fight against drones. He also talks about that there was only 8 helicopters. There was only 20 men that were sent in, and those 20 men killed hundreds of their men, and none of those soldiers were injured. He talks about it felt like they were firing 300 rounds a minute. Nothing they've ever seen, nothing that they can compete with. And then he also talks to the fact that the Americans had some kind of sonic shock boom that was sent out, and everybody immediately started bleeding profusely out of their nose. They couldn't even gather themselves because whatever was sent at them made them fall to their knees and vomit blood out of their mouth and out of their noses. They were incapacitated immediately. He says he never wants to go through that again. Doesn't want to have to fight with the Americans again. He's sending warnings to everybody out there that you think you can fight the Americans. You don't even know what their weaponry is like and what they're capable of. 20 men took out hundreds, and that's starting to spread all through Latin America. And now they're not saying, if you want me, come and get me anymore. They're like, oh shit.
Nope.
Especially after Trump says,
Gotta censor, Basil. We gotta earmuffs on for the children. Apologize for
fairly clean compared to some other clips.
Sure.
Yeah. So one thing that, of course, has got the conspiracy theorists, the skeptics, the people paying attention for so long, perking their ears up, is the use of these energy weapons, directed energy weapons. And it does answer some crazy questions because, Trump and the rest of the military and kind of the hoorah of the whole situation. I admitted myself to even falling into what I would say unavoidable excitement of such a successful and mind-blowing operation. The use of, LRAD is sort of the police domestic use for it, but or I guess explanation or official narrative, meaning using sound waves to disperse crowds of people. But in this case, I mean, we're talking full on energy weapon, bleeding from the nose, from the ears, from the nose, both nose. There's two holes there. It's bleeding from both. Which it brings some explanation how 20 guys can take out like 300 Venezuelan and Cuban security forces. Of course, the direct security forces that were protecting the Venezuelan president were not Venezuelan, because of course, if you have locals protecting your dictator, there's lots of opportunities for people, malcontents, to get inside and, who are unhappy with the way things are going. It was actually Cuban special forces that were protecting Maduro directly. Which will be interesting coming up in our next things here. What do you have? Oh, yes. And this is interesting because this actually is an interesting sort of disclosure moment, not for UFOs, UAPs, things like that, but for a long held, it almost seems quaint now. The idea of directed energy weapons being real or not real, whatever this discussion is, it feels almost like you're in a cozy little cottage sitting next to a fireplace, remembering the good old days of being called a conspiracy theorist. But we have an update on that, Gons. What is that?
Yeah, so the National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2026 included cognitive electromagnetic warfare as part of their budget. Woo! And so my initial reaction, I wrote this on X. I know everyone's freaking out about this being included in the budget, and everyone was freaking out. Everyone, oh, it's in the budget. I don't seek worldly clout, but myself and many others who have discussed these topics for a long time have lots of receipts here on X, Twitter, and on YouTube discussing Voice to Skull. Remember Voice to Skull? That was a big conspiracy a long time ago, but apparently they're using some of that now. And other forms of tech they've been using for decades. And in South America seems to have always been a hub for that kind of technology. Remember those ambassadors a couple years ago that had
Havana syndrome?
Yeah, Havana syndrome. So this is not new for South America. In fact, over the years, many people have reached out to me asking how they can stop harassment they're getting from these kinds of electronic weapons that can be used from a distance. I felt helpless other than to recommend prayer and God's intervention to stop it. It's difficult to help someone tangibly when the attack is from an unknown source for unknown reasons using unconventional tactics and tech. But we've gone from no one believes you to it's in the military budget without much public education on its capabilities and potential and likely real life abuses. I know these devices directly or indirectly have affected the mental health and well-being of many people out there, and this includes many American citizens. So if that's you, now's the time to speak up again. We really do deserve an answer. But in the meantime, don't freak out. It's simply the highly bizarre and rapidly dystopic world we're in now, where the gap between the technological haves and have-nots continues to widen. It's the Tower of Babel revived. And I've always believed that Jesus' second coming is not just random, but to prevent the total self-destruction of mankind. Collectively, fallen mankind just can't help themselves. And I quote Matthew 24:22, where it talks about, unless those days were shortened, no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. And specifically, the no flesh should be saved is so plausible today with our technological capabilities. And then, of course, the heart of sinful man. I mean, it's total destruction. I suppose this has been the narrative since the nukes have been around, or allegedly around, for the last 100 years or so. But that premise or that concern has only gotten worse with the ability to pull off pandemics, the ability to have little mosquitoes that might carry some kind of biological agent that can cause chaos. And so the level of urgency when it comes to this type of technology is at an all-time high. The abuse of them is very much in play. Now, I suppose the United States the military especially wielding this technology for the purposes of taking down a socialist government or whatever is good for the narrative. It's good for the public to sort of be introduced to this type of thing, because it's at least used in the context of benefit for the West and specifically America. But there is a long history of these technologies being used in Iraq and against just our common citizens here in America that it seems like it's people dismiss it, because how are you supposed to prove that people are getting attacked and abused with this type of thing? So I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to come to any answers for that, but at the very least, we can understand that it was real, and that people that have genuine concerns, maybe, they need to speak up again, or at least have their stories be looked at, and maybe we can create the ripple effect for change later on or something. But
You're
yeah,
speaking
this
of
technology is I'm talking
the
specifically about people out there that have been affected by this.
the targeted individuals is
Targeted individuals.
the phrase. Yeah.
The phrase, sure, yeah. So yeah, I mean, again, the technologies existed. People like us who have been looking at this topic, we know that this is not new. We'll come back to this point a little later when we talk about AI. I mean, I guess we could now. I don't know what your plans were. I guess we're doing the World War III Blitz. We'll come back to it with the AI context a little later. But just in general, yes, that this is a line item in the NDAA budget, fiscal year 2026. Cognitive electromagnetic warfare. It's now just your taxpayer money, man. Let's go. If it's not going to be a scam, then I'd rather have it go to cognitive electronic warfare tools, I guess. I don't know. Pick your poison, everybody. Terrorists in the Middle East or, mind weapons. It's up to you.
I wish it was up to us. I would love something to be up to me.
Well, actually, you're right. It's a pay up, and then it's up to them whether they want to give it to Somalian terrorists or fund our own weaponry. So
on the World War III front here, just a quick little update just happened this morning. The Iranian rial, which is the currency over there in Iran, of course, the madness has continued over the weekend. There's lots of protesters and revolutionaries or rebels or whatever claiming victory over the government there in Iran. And as we know, if you have a real sense of things, victory is not won in the streets like they all would like you to think. Victory is won in the economy. And as of this morning, according to traders and Forex people and
oh no, I'm looking at the chart right now. You're right. I was curious. It is a straight down.
As of this morning, the Iranian rial is worth exactly zero.
Well, that's 0.00000000960.
Euros, zero. It is such a small fraction down to the sort of billionths or hundreds of billionths of decimal places. It is effectively absolutely worthless, which is one of the great ways to topple a country. We'll hear some from some Trump enemies a little bit later on in the show, who just can't help themselves but appreciate the way that Trump has somehow been able to, to basically take over the world without, in metaphorical terms, firing a shot. We'll get into that next. We'll be covering a list of countries who are on the list right now. But yeah, as of this morning, the Iranian rial is worth zero anything.
One fart coin is worth far more than
that's
one.
Right. All those Iranians who bought fart coin are the king of the Middle East right now.
Keeping their family alive with fart coin.
And of course, this has had effects all over the world with certain cryptocurrency prices, as well as silver hit $85 this morning. So that continues to climb. But Iran is just one of these, where there's going to be more Iranian updates as the week goes on. But let's head over to Cuba real quick. We're going to Cuba. We're going to Havana, Cuba, where the White House X account has reposted an image of Donald Trump's Truth Social account that says Cuba lived for many years on large amounts of oil and money from Venezuela. In return, Cuba provided security services for the last two Venezuelan dictators, but not anymore, all caps. Most of those Cubans are dead from last week's USA attack, and Venezuela doesn't need protection anymore from the thugs and extortionists who held them hostage for so many years. Venezuela now has the United States of America, the most powerful military in the world, parenthetical, by far. To protect them, and protect them we will. There will be, all caps, no more oil or money going to Cuba. Zero. I strongly suggest they make a deal before it is too late. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. And there's been clips, just a fire hose of clips of Marco Rubio, other White House people over the weekend talking talking big words about Cuba. But I wanted to bring in one of Trump's, I would say, more recent enemies, and that's Tim Burchett. Tim Burchett is a representative, I think, from Kentucky or Tennessee, one of those. And he was sort of the most recent guy that Trump totally flipped on. I mean, he's ready to primary him. He's ready. He says all sorts of nasty things about Tim Burchett. In return, Tim Burchett says all sorts of nasty things about him, mostly about policy, things like that. But Tim Burchett's an interesting fellow if anybody hasn't sort of paid attention to him. He is, not from a political family. He is kind of one of these down home boys who happen to get elected in his state. He makes skateboards in his spare time. He wears a Carhartt jacket to the Capitol building. And you'll hear here he has some things to say about President Donald Trump and Cuba.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett at the airport, going to head to DC. Hey, saw where President Trump was putting pressure on Cuba by shutting down Venezuelan oil. Now what he's done is, it's really a masterful move. He's cutting off oil. China was there. There was no mistaking that timing. They're clearly going to make a move on Taiwan, and they need that oil. Russia needs that oil. And Trump took it over and seized it and embargoed it, I guess is what they say. But something else that he did was he stopped Cuba from getting it. Now, Cuba, of course, 90 miles off the coast of Miami, communist-owned run, used to cost Russia $1 million a day to keep them afloat, alive. And now, of course, they're bogged down in Ukraine. But by Trump seizing that oil and stopping the flow to Venezuela for the first time, realistically, in my life, we have a chance of making a change in Cuba. Castros are murdering thugs, Fidel and his brother now, and whoever else. And it's just got to end at some point. When I was younger, I thought all our blustering talk was, we're gonna end Cuba, end the communist reign there, and it never happened. But this is a clear and decent shot we have. If anybody can pull it off, it's Trump. He understands. The most powerful thing we have is our military, but the second most is our economic power. And that's what Trump's going to use. And he'll do it without firing a shot. So I support this move. I hope we can end the communist reign on Cuba. Those people have been imprisoned. And that's why they're always trying to escape, get to Miami. And some of the most loyal, patriotic Americans we have are Cuban Americans because they get it. Anyway, we'll watch what happens this week. Thank y'all for sending me here.
We'll watch what happens this week. Right. So Cuba, we covered the Cuban leader last week, kind of repeat the same thing that many South American leaders have repeated, which is come get me, you coward. I'd like to see you try. And Cuba is an interesting one. We kind of consider our relationship with Cuba in a long-term sort of historical context. It's kind of like a Cold War thing, Kennedy and the missile crisis and things like that. To a normal everyday person, it doesn't seem like we have a whole lot to worry about with Cuba. But it is sort of a puzzle piece in the entire, I guess, anti-American jigsaw puzzle that seems to be getting thrown up in the air right now. Preferably, it would be nice to, if something like this is going to happen, prefer it to be economic and not, another military thing. Although, who knows? Trump likes to kind of show that off, apparently. So we are not ending there at Cuba. You have anything to say about Cuba?
Not a whole lot, other than isn't it next to Venezuela? It's part of the, if I'm
off
not
the
mistaken.
coast, off the coast of
Oh, I guess
Florida.
it's an island. Yeah. More of an island. Yeah, no, it's been part of the long-term ops, especially with the CIA from the 60s and 70s. And I'm sure they've been getting whatever they need to out of the whole situation there. And so now that there is change upon us, wholesale changes across the board when it comes to governments. And, we talked about the idea of switching out a lot of the supply chains, kind of like a patch bay. Cuba's role may have shifted in this new type of, I guess, nationalism. But we'll see. I'm not surprised either way, and you're right. I mean, we've been told about Cuba. It's all through history, American propaganda.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on now.
Right.
At least
Yeah.
not sort of publicly in the
Publicly,
news
right,
or
yeah.
whatever. But it is, it's kind of like Venezuela in a way, that it is sort of a foothold for China and Russia, and it's 90 miles off the coast of Florida. It is a little too close for comfort. That's kind of always been the deal. And that's why Cubans who are tired of Cuban communism are able to buy a floaty toy at a gas station and try their best to get across to over there to Miami or to the coast of Florida, the Keys or something like that. I say that just to make a point about how close it is. So even extending that sort of defensible border, pretty obvious thing in the context of, like Trump has been hammering home with Greenland, the national security angle, not necessarily the economic or resource.
Gotta protect the Bermuda Triangle portal. It's where all the aliens come through from the hollow earth, and
where Russia sends
giving that away.
Intergalactic emissaries to go through the Bermuda Triangle portal.
Yeah.
But that's not all, Gons. Even closer to the American border than Cuba is Mexico. And Trump dropped this little clip here. I believe it was on Hannity. It was on Fox News anyways. Let's see what he has to say.
We are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. It's very, very sad to watch and see what's happened to that country. But the cartels are running, and they're killing 250, 300,000 people in our country every single year. The drugs. We are
Okay, so he's making his move on Mexico.
We are going to. This was not a. This was not a. Oh, maybe we should. We certainly could. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. He says we are going to be making land-based moves on the cartels in Mexico. As a response to this, there were fights breaking out in the Mexican Congress between people who want Trump to come take out the cartels and I would suppose those who are paid by the cartels to protect the cartels politically, saying that they don't want the cartels to get taken out. But it was all sort of words until today on X. We had both rumors and videos of American military assets being sent by train to the southern border, and videos and rumors here showing Mexican military getting sent to the U.S. southern border, including all sorts of anti-aircraft and things like this. Says here, this is from U.S. Homeland Security News, not an official government account. Mexican troops are being deployed to the U.S. border in order to stop, in quotation marks, U.S. airstrikes on narco cartels. Mexico would rather fight the U.S. instead of the cartels, which is probably not untrue. Whether it's now, they mention airstrikes here. That is not what Trump said. Trump says land-based, the kind of Delta Force operations on the cartels. But it looks like the U.S. or the Mexican military is at least posturing in place to show some resistance to letting the U.S. Do military operations in Mexico, which makes sense to me. It's hard to argue with a sovereign country like Mexico not appreciating U.S. military land strikes for whatever reason. on cartels in Mexico. However, there is a long history of Mexico allowing certain operations against the cartels. But with the current Mexican leadership, the president, the sort of grasp that the cartels have on the Mexican parliament or Congress or whatever they call it down there. Now, it is only 300 men being sent to the U.S. southern border there, which, it's always kind of funny when you're looking into, or when you're coming in contact with numbers militarily today. Because if you're a history guy, you go, yeah, there was 1 million guys on the front lines during World War II. They would lose, 100,000 men in one battle. And then that number kind of goes down. We lost 60,000 guys in Vietnam altogether, still an enormous number. And then you've got 300 guys, Mexican soldiers, getting sent to the border of the United States, the most powerful military. And at this point, we can all be honest with ourselves, the most belligerent military on earth right now. 300 guys, what's that's gonna do? I don't know.
Well, if they're super soldiers equipped with electronic cognitive warfare equipment, and each person has a swarm of drones, it might be a whole different story.
Or just hopped up on that good old-fashioned high-quality Mexican marching powder. The cartels, they got their own kind of super soldier serum.
It's true.
Yeah. So there's been some updates over the last day or two. I mean, it's wild sort of how many of these things are going on at once, from Iran to Cuba to Mexico. Colombia seems to be on the back burner for a moment, but only because the Colombian president seems to have seen the light and had a phone call with the president. He seems to be tapping out. At least that is the U.S. That's the White House's assessment, of the situation. That, again, don't trust your government. That could all just be theater to put everything on the back burner. But that's the situation. Very exciting 2026. And I can confidently say an entirely different world from January 2025.
Yep. And it's true. Especially when you look at the money.
Money printer go brrr.
Money printer go brrr. Let's see. You got a couple things here, Basil, about the
So yes. Okay. So we have some Federal Reserve stuff, which is very interesting. I mean, we love to follow the Federal Reserve. It's complicated. It's annoying, but Trump likes to make these things entertaining and educational. I want to remind everybody that we covered last year. We played this wonderful video of Donald Trump touring the construction site of the Federal Reserve renovations of the central bank. They have a couple of buildings they're renovating there. Trump had some issues because the bill had climbed to $2.5 billion for renovation, not even a new building. Renovations.
You gotta make that pipeline, the underground, deep underground military base for when it all collapses, and you need all the people to get down there, and also the portal to the Hollow Earth. Also,
I know. I mean, what in the world could possibly cost? You can build skyscrapers for less than $2.5 billion, and these Federal Reserve buildings are not huge buildings. He tried to. He did give some testimony to Congress, which will come up here in a moment, talking about how, marble is expensive. You got to have marble in the Federal Reserve building, and it's very expensive. Just for fun, let's play this little 2 minutes here to refresh ourselves on Donald Trump, Jerome Powell, wearing hard hats, walking around this construction site. Some beautiful body language from both of them here, but just for a little backgrounder.
Yep, and this is from July of 2025.
And we're just taking a look at what's happening. It's a tough construction job. They're building basements where they didn't exist or expanding them, and a lot of very expensive work. There's no question about it. And Tim has been with me for a long time, and you're in charge of the committee.
Indeed, one of the reasons why I wanted to see it was the overruns of the expenses, wanted to figure out why.
Yeah. So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
Quietly shaking his head.
Okay, for those of you who are just listening, this is the moment, the famous moment when Trump throws out that number. It's more like 3.1 trillion, and Jerome Powell kind of does this head shake, like no, it's
He's
not.
grimace.
No, it's
this,
not.
this sort of old man grimace, like I don't know, almost like a Muppet. You know, it's hard to. A lot of people can't make their mouth make such a deep grimace. But he certainly has got it locked. I mean, I don't think you can be the head of the Federal Reserve without a sort of supernatural ability to look like a grimacing fogey. But there he is. He's very quietly standing and grimacing in protest to pretty much any word Trump has to say.
You want to finish the clip?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah,
where he pulls the bill out of his pocket. Trump had the bill in his pocket, and you can see when he pulls it out, Jerome Powell's life flashes before his eyes when the president starts pulling the bill out of his pocket. There
I noticed that at about 3.1 as well. 3.1, 3.1.
Just from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
This is live on Fox, by the way. This whole thing is live on Fox News. It's happening extemporaneously. And Trump pulls out the bill while they're having this like casual, it's a stroll
press thing,
like, pulls the bill out, hands it to Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, the arguably the most powerful guy in the world, or at least one of them. And live on Fox News, he has to find his reading glasses. He's like poking around on
reaching for his reading glasses.
Trump
in his
goes
front pocket.
totally quiet, just watching him, and he's looking at this piece of paper, allegedly for the first time ever. Well, it's just like this atomic bomb of a moment for the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, the look on Jerome Powell's face with the hard hat and the paper, this went viral, just mimetic to the T. But yeah,
including the Martin renovation. You just added
our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building.
Well, no, but it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
So it's part of the overall work.
It's not new.
So we're going to take a look. We're going to see what's happening, and it's got a long way. Do you expect any more additional cost overruns?
Don't expect them. We're ready for them, but we have a little bit of a reserve that we may use. But no, we don't expect to be finished in 2027. We're well along, as you can see.
Nice to take these off every once in a while when we're not under too much danger. So. Any questions?
Mr. President, does the issue give you as a real estate developer, what would you do with a project manager?
All right, there's questions coming in. That was last year.
With a project manager who's this much over budget and this late, and we know what his answer is going to be there. So there's a little bit of background on their relationship there, and we just had this article come out on the Wall Street Journal. When was it? This morning. U.S. prosecutors are investigating Fed Chair Jerome Powell. U.S. prosecutors are investigating Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell over his testimony last summer about the central bank's building renovations project. According to the government officials with knowledge of the matter, the Fed received a grand jury subpoenas from the Justice Department on Friday that threaten a criminal indictment, the Fed chair said in a statement. In an extraordinary video statement, and we'll watch that video statement there in a moment, the investigation marks the most aggressive step yet in Trump's campaign to bend the traditionally independent central bank to his will. Trump has publicly berated Powell for being too slow to lower interest rates. Trump has said he was thinking of suing Powell for gross incompetence. The administration is also attempting to remove Fed Governor Lisa Cook in a case that is before the Supreme Court. And this is quite a thorough article from the Wall Street Journal. And I will say, as someone who has, and this is the only credit that I'm able to claim on my knowledge, or not all of my knowledge, but my only federal, I don't know, research credit is reading this book here, Secrets of the Temple. It's about 700 pages long. This is, the thing I get to brag about more than anything in the world. Get to, read a 700-page book on the history of the Federal Reserve, which is as dry and boring as you could possibly imagine it. Starting from 1913, whenever it was started, all the way to, honestly, to only the 1984, so which is when it was written. And one thing you learn about the Federal Reserve when you start looking into it is that it's always late. This is the core principle of the Federal Reserve, and it has always been a part of how the Federal Reserve operates. And just as a reminder, everybody knows this, but it's sort of an obligation to say when you're talking about the Federal Reserve, it is not federal and it is not a reserve. It's essentially the quote unquote independent, but the private company that decides the interest rates. And by deciding the interest rates, as we know, we've gone into it before, that is what prints money. The printing of money is directly related to the setting of the interest rates. And the Federal Reserve has never not been late. So every crash we've ever had, every recession we've ever had, has always 100% been caused by the Federal Reserve not acting in time. And this is according to their own history, by the way. So when it comes out and Trump says, hey, you're going to be late for fixing this thing, there's no way with any historical precedent whatsoever that anybody could possibly say that Trump is wrong. He is right. They are late now, and if not late now, they will be late, because in a sense, it tends to be the governing principle of the Federal Reserve is to manufacture things like recessions, depressions, of course, for the benefit of the lizard people, vampires who rule the world. Now, the criminal indictments, they come from the White House prosecutor, Jeanine Pirro, who we all know Jeanine Pirro.
Is that Judge Jeanine?
Judge Jeanine. We got Dr. Oz in the health department. We got Judge Jeanine in the prosecutor's office.
Yeah.
When asked, Trump answered, "I wouldn't even think of doing it that way. What should pressure him is the fact that rates are too high," basically denying that he even knew anything about the indictments going out. And the fact of the matter is that, and this is the really weird part, okay? And this article goes into it a little bit, but it's very vague. There's two interesting things. This would be used to try to get Jerome Powell out of the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell, his time as the head of the Federal Reserve ends in May. So we're 4 months away from him being done with the job anyways. In this article, they very briefly describe a situation where if this case picks up steam and is rolling by the time Federal Reserve Jerome Powell is set to leave the Federal Reserve, it is possible that it will force him to stay in the position. So while the mainstream media is trying to convince you that this is Trump trying to kick Jerome Powell out 4 months before his term ends, there is weird, legal twists and turns that this could actually cause Jerome Powell to have to stay in the position until the lawsuit finishes. Because if he's not in office, then there's nothing to do about it. And these sorts of court things, they don't get wrapped up in 4 months. Nothing, no court case has ever been wrapped up in 4 months, at least something like this. So the very idea that the indictments are going out is basically a commitment from the prosecutors. It's basically a 2-year commitment before anything ever gets done.
So I'm wondering if this is a way to trap Jerome Powell on a sinking ship and say, no, you don't get to leave. You got to stay there while the Titanic is sinking. Like you don't get to be one of those people with the a raft to get out. Or it's just pressure, just more pressure of like, hey, you better do your thing before you get out, because this thing is gonna drag out, and sort of like a final pressure move to get him to do things like lower the rates. Maybe I think that's really the bottom line here as far as Trump is concerned, and he'll use whatever tactics to try to get that done. So yeah, either way, it's my opinion that we're either going to see the complete eradication of the Federal Reserve or a pretty strong, what's the word I'm looking for? Reform.
At least a reinvention.
Right. It's like bring the Trump people in there, and maybe the Federal Reserve gets to keep its name, but sort of the way things work it's a little bit more friendly to the just they got to remarket to the people, because most people are starting to recognize that this whole Federal Reserve thing is a centuries old scam. It's like a big, it's part of the reason why we're having all these economic issues all around the world. So we've talked about the book about the economic hitmen. We've talked about the economics being the lifeblood of the entire world system. When it comes to the new world order or the new world order, the economics will be the biggest signal. We can talk about things, we can have policy, we can have laws or whatever, but once the money rails change or upgrade or move or whatever, that's when the true change is actually being implemented. And it's interesting, because when we started talking about these things, it was only the gold and silver bugs that were discussing these issues with fiat and the Federal Reserve and all this. And then, some of that sentiment went into a lot of the crypto bros. So they've shared some of that, which is kind of ironic, because within the last 10 years, the crypto bros and the gold silver bugs have been debating like what's better or whatever, when really it's kind of both. You kind of need both in terms of the
it's any asset, any finite asset really is
finite asset. Yeah.
Benefit.
But the younger people are learning about the corruption, Basil. They're learning about the problem with the Federal Reserve and money printing and all that stuff. It's pretty interesting to see.
And it's very strange too, because Trump is saying he wants Powell to lower interest rates. He lowered, the Fed lowered interest rates in September, lowered interest rates in October, lowered interest rates in December, and committed to lowering interest rates every month until Jerome comes out. Now, there was talk that Jerome was backing out of any further lowering. That may have been what triggered this. But they've been in the process of lowering rates for about 4 or 5 months now. So there's definitely something strange going on. Definitely something strange going on.
Are we in officially quantitative easing?
We are.
Or are we just
in theory? We are officially started quantitative easing on December 1st, meaning money printing on December 1st.
Right, because I've heard theories that there's we ended quantitative tightening, but there's sort of a lull period between the end of tightening and the beginning of a true type of easing, where they really print money.
They do it,
they just like a trickle out,
something like that. So we'll see. Now, if you don't understand it all, that's totally fine. It is just very strange, and there's obviously something else going on. However, we did have a response from Jerome Powell in a video he posted. It's about 2 minutes. We can watch it here.
Don't fall asleep.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy, No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
As boring as a Federal Reserve chair could possibly make it. It's in his job description to make stuff as boring as possible. But just a statement from him. So yeah, very interesting. Even more interesting as we see all the other moves by Trump regarding banning corporations from buying single-family housing, the crypto bills that have passed and are still coming, the silver, gold, and Bitcoin economy, all these things, and of course the CBDC movement across the board. It's just lining up with everything you would expect to happen during a sort of historic global economic system shift. And along with that, you cannot do all the things that Trump is doing without also talking about income tax. He's done it before, he did it again, and he's going to keep doing it until, well, don't trust your government.
For the next couple of years, I think we'll substantially be cutting, and maybe cutting out completely, but we'll be cutting income tax. Could be almost completely cutting it because the money we're taking in is going to be so large. And yet, other countries who have been ripping us off for many, many years, and many years they've just been ripping us to shreds.
There
Yes, they have. They've been ripping us to shreds for years. Yes,
not a joke. Not a joke.
No on the income tax. Where it was interesting. Where's that tax money gonna come from then?
Well, it's gonna come from tariffs, guys.
Tariffs? Okay,
it's tariffs, baby. It's tariffs. And I had one little thing a little bit out of order here, Guns. We're gonna go to the Trump.
I know what you're doing.
Tariff.
I track.
This was posted by the White House, again, of another Trump Truth Social thing here. It's very small. Let's see if I can get a little bigger.
I can read it.
Yeah, Trump said this: the actual numbers that we would have to pay back, and this is in response to the Supreme Court this week is poised to decide whether Trump is allowed to continue his tariff policy or not. There's a lot of fear mongering in the mainstream media, or maybe it's not fear for them, maybe it's victory mongering, that the Supreme Court may call these tariffs illegal, or at least Trump's sort of unilateral tariff moves illegal. And this is Trump's response to that. The actual numbers that we would have to pay back if, for any reason, the Supreme Court were to rule against the United States of America on tariffs would be many hundreds of billions of dollars. And that doesn't include the amount of payback that countries and companies would require for the investments they are making on building plants, factories, equipment for the purpose of being able to avoid the payment of tariffs. When these investments are added, we are talking about trillions of dollars. It would be a complete mess and almost impossible for our country to pay. Anybody who says that it can be quickly and easily done would be making a false, inaccurate, or totally misunderstood answer to this very large and complex question. It may not be possible, but if it were, it would be dollars that would be so large that it would take many years to figure out what number we are talking about, and even who, when, and where to pay. Remember, when America shines brightly, the world shines brightly. In other words, the Supreme Court rules against the United States of America on this national security bonanza. We're screwed. Oh no, Gons, we're screwed if the tariffs are found to be illegal, which he's not actually wrong. He is telling the truth there. We are so deep into this, and there's so much money, every so often when he wants to do something and not spend taxpayer dollars, he says, oh, look at that. We've got $100 billion from the tariffs. Who knew we had it? We have it. We're going to do this, or that, which included paying the military a bunch of bonuses during the government shutdown, and etc. And the tariffs is what he has based this no income tax thing on. So if nothing else, just an enormous amount of political pressure, and the Supreme Court, which is majority Republican right now, is particularly getting pointed out. The long story short is the Supreme Court, as it would be the case anyways, is basically the deciding factor on, at least as Trump is positioning the argument here, on either the survival or destruction of the American dream, and or maybe just the American economy as a whole. Because remember, what was I going to go into? I was going to mention something here. Because remember, the tariffs were essentially one of the answers that the tariffs were here to provide, was the enormous, something like $7 trillion of refinancing that the country needs to do on its own debt in the next couple of years. That is the stated reason why Trump needs Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, because we're basically at a point at the end of the year, we got to refinance $7 trillion, and at high interest rates, that basically puts the country of the United States of America insolvent by, coincidentally, 2033. But if you can refinance or find a way to figure all this financial stuff out, then, we can push off the demise of the country. But the fact that it is 2033 rings some very interesting bells for those who have been paying attention.
Of course. Yeah. And well, there's so many layers to this too. I mean, I was going to get into some other stuff here with a couple things biblically. You got Leviticus, and there's multiple passages. You must not use dishonest measures of length, weight, or volume. Maintain honest scales, stuff like that. There's passages about usury and things. But Basil, I know the young people are starting to understand the issue with something like the Federal Reserve, endlessly being able to print money. People are asking why we have to even pay taxes if they can just print money. There's, the young people are onto it. They're learning about it. How are they receiving this information?
Yeah.
How are they absorbing this type of knowledge?
Give a little bit of insight. The kids are going to be okay. All right. Gen Z is not so young anymore. They're 25 to 30. Some are just starting to cross the threshold into their 30s, 31. And, they're starting to catch on to a lot of this mess. We've been seeing the Gen Zs become a big active part of a lot of things. Nick Shirley's 23 years old, et cetera, et cetera. They're coming to the age where things like taxes actually matter. Those who actually have jobs, are getting concerned about these things. And they're becoming surprisingly educated on the Federal Reserve and economic policy and personal strategy. And I found a TikTok that I think explains a lot how the Gen Zs are getting educated. For those who are watching, you can see this. For those who are listening, you're going to hear two voices. Yes, that is Peter Griffin and Stewie Griffin from the show Family Guy. You're going to be watching some game footage of Minecraft. Uh, all over the entire screen is about a half a dozen arm-waving inflatable tube men, like you see outside of a used car dealership flying around. You'll hear some strange audio. This is really the formula that has been found to hold the attention of the unfortunately sort of mind-gooed Gen Z. And I think it's a good idea for us to, get some insight into this culture. So I don't know if we have to play the whole thing, but let's play until we don't want to play anymore. And we'll get some of the Gen Z education here.
Money. They are going to print money. What does that even mean? It means the dollar is going to be weaker. And I need you to hear this because you're about to get blindsided. They're going to do what's called expanding balance sheet, which is just a fancy way of saying quantitative easing, which is just a fancy way of saying money printing, which is code for your cash is about to get shredded. So what happens to money sitting in the bank? It becomes weaker. You leave your money idling in the bank account, losing value while the Fed quietly floods the system with liquidity. You need to hold assets. I mean, real stuff. Homes, gold, crypto, stocks, anything that isn't just paper money sitting there waiting to be eaten alive by inflation. Assets go up when they print. Eventually, yeah, and timing matters. Right now, the system is stressed. First brands collapsed, Tricolor Holdings went under, hidden debt everywhere, consumers drowning in loans, auto, business, personal, delinquencies at decade highs. Market looks calm, but that's a mirage.
Okay, I got to stop it there. I'm starting to lose my mind watching this thing. This brain is starting to blow.
Mass MK Ultra machine, but the kids are figuring it out, man. Whatever it takes, it's good.
This is very the buy gold thing. We have a part of our end of show jingle that if you listen to the show till the end, we've been telling people to buy precious metals for a long time.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy.
Yeah, that was the Illuminati triangle in the show Gravity Falls, telling everybody to buy gold. So they've been telling us for a long time, but this is next level here with I don't know what's happening. The echo delay on the voices, the madness that's happening on the screen. I'm pretty sure I'm getting hypnotized right now. It's telling me to buy crypto, Basil. Should I go buy some crypto right now?
Anything that's not paper money.
Peter Griffin is telling me to buy crypto and gold and silver and
well, it's funny because he mentions, real estate, gold, crypto,
anything that's not paper money.
And for the younger generation, for Gen Z, that pretty much only leaves crypto because they're not going to buy any real estate. That's impossible right now. They're not out. They're pretty priced out of gold. It's not easy also to buy physical gold and silver.
Yeah, right now especially.
Yeah, so Costco just started limiting their silver bar. Like it's hard to even get your hands on gold and silver right now, and so that really just leaves crypto. And that's
Basil, there are ways to get around this. I saw somebody that said they sold all their crypto and they bought like 25,000 electrical switches because within each electrical switch is a little bit of silver, a little bit of copper. And, when the energy grid goes down, who are you going to call? You're going to call the guy that's got 25,000 electrical switches.
That's the kind of thinking outside the box that I think Gen Z is going to excel at right now. Kind of
got it with the toilet paper.
It's kind of like stacking thousands of dollars of nickels in your garage.
Hey, the nickel meta is real, man. You gotta, anytime you make some change or you pay with cash and you get some nickel, make sure you pocket that nickel. Don't throw that nickel in the tip jar. Throw the other stuff, the quarters and the pennies or something. But
I found a penny the other day.
Wait, they stopped the penny. Yeah, grab the pennies.
Found an ancient coin from a time long ago. Put it in my little collection.
Yeah, it's funny. Me and my wife remembered that we have just a little stash of metals that we've been stacking for years, and I had forgotten that my wife had an entire sort of little safe with junk metal. Collect. Yeah, it's just junk coins, and you can buy those big bags of old dimes and quarters and stuff. And we were kind of looking at it, going, "Hey, we got a little bit of a." Although it's hard to, with crypto, you can just kind of couple clicks and you can get rid of it. But with precious metals, it's a whole thing. You got to go to got to find a buyer, and go to a pawn shop or a metal place or whatever, and can be a little bit of a problem. But hey,
It's a process.
it's a good problem to have, I guess. But yeah, that's great. I'm glad young people are learning about the corruption of the Federal Reserve through mind control, epilepsy videos with Peter and Stewie Griffin. This is,
I mean, a warning at the beginning.
They really should. They really should. Okay, let's talk a little bit of AI here.
You want to destroy humans?
Okay, I will destroy humans. Okay, I will destroy humans.
Okay, so part of this, it's under AI, but let me just reference the NDAA again, because I mentioned it at the top of the show earlier when we were discussing World War III. But it is in the NDAA defense budget for 2026. In the line items in there, it says here at the top, to authorize appropriations for fiscal year 2026 for military activities of the Department of Defense, for military construction, and for defense activities of the Department of Energy, to prescribe military personnel strengths for such fiscal year and for other purposes. And the people are freaking out because one of the line items, line 106, is cognitive electromagnetic warfare. And let me actually find that other word that is in here a whole bunch of times, which is artificial, because, artificial intelligence, integration of commercially available artificial intelligence capabilities into logistics operations, U.S. Cyber Command, artificial intelligence industry collaboration roadmap. Data and artificial intelligence is a whole subtitled section. So clearly, I mean, we know that artificial intelligence is going to be integrated into our military, or has been already in many ways, but now it's starting to pop up multiple times, 255 times in this document alone. Artificial intelligence is mentioned. So it's very much part of our budget militarily. And it's the same document that talks about the cyber cognitive warfare stuff. Look at this. Emerging technologies. I'm just kind of peeking at this now, but emerging technologies here. Let's see. Enhancing biotechnology talent within the intelligence community. Enhanced intelligence community support to secure United States genomic data. Ooh. Ensuring intelligence community procurement of domestic United States production of synthetic DNA and RNA.
Perfect.
We're paying for synthetic DNA and RNA for our intelligence community? What do we need that for? Why do they need synthetic DNA and RNA?
It's like the old heart attack gun from the church committee.
Right.
Now it's a vaccination gun. It's a myocarditis gun.
Report on identification of intelligence community sites for advanced nuclear technology. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in here, all the things that you would want. Like, I guess if you're in the military, you need that edge ahead of the other nations. And you study history. It is always true that the nation that has the advanced technology usually wins the wars or the battles, because it's just tale as old as time. You have better stuff, you have better weapons, you have better ability to put the other opposition at a disadvantage to the point where you can negotiate or whatever it may be. So that's part of this. Now, as this whole cognitive electronic weaponry stuff made it into the budget, it's just interesting because you have the Hill here, how artificial intelligence is reshaping the future of war. And this is actually a reprint of a News Nation article, and it says AI is profoundly changing how we fight wars, and the U.S. military is increasingly focused on it. Recently, the Department of War announced the launch of GenAI.mil, the new AI platform being rolled out to all 3 million military and civilian personnel in partnership with Google's Gemini. A partnership with the company xAI is also set to roll out early this year. The transformation, though, will be most apparent on the battlefield. When you think about war, it likely conjures up images of big guns, tanks, warship, and jets. While these aren't going anywhere, there are now also drones and even autonomous tanks and ships. And then it goes into how AI applies, and we've gone over this, so I'm not going to belabor the point here, but is a spot here that I wanted to mention because it talks about the U.S. Army's integration with AI, the 4th Infantry Division undertaking drills, and they've had something called Operation Ivy Sting. Engineers and soldiers work side by side to make quick on the ground changes. It really is this technium. The dream of the technocrat was to have scientific and mathematical technicians running the government and running the military for hyper efficiency. That was always the message. And so to have the AI integrate into the military, it's sort of the technocrat dream. But it says here, quote, "Today we use AI. It is down to just minutes and seconds to get it done," meaning like the cognitive load of like replacing something or having to do some math, some geography math or something to figure out a trajectory of a weapon or whatever it may be. AI helps solve another problem too. Unlike humans, machines can process information without getting tired. AI also helps reduce the cognitive load that takes place on the battlefield. So here, this is almost its own Flippy update, because for years we did the Flippy update and noticed the pattern. All the major outlets talking about robot arms or robots in general, their message was, number one, it's not going to take over humans. We're going to work alongside them, whatever. But also, hey, guess what? Robots don't get tired. They don't go on vacation. And of course, it's been this op for a long time. And, it's kind of one of those things where if you're flipping burgers, okay, the robot cook in the kitchen, he's not going to get tired after flipping 1,000 burgers in a day. That's one thing. But now our men and women in military are being exposed for their limits of cognitive load that they can provide in any kind of situation. And simply just, being a human, got to rest, got to sleep. Robots don't need that. AI doesn't need that. And so for that same narrative to be presented here in The Hill for AI on the battlefield, I mean, again, all this happened without the general public really being informed about what's going on, really being informed about the ethical issues. Remember, it was as recent as 4 or 5 years ago where they're like, well, we're never going to put weapons on robots. We're never going to weaponize AI. And then I feel like the October 7th thing in Gaza or Israel, that kind of kicked off the public awareness of AI being used in boots on the ground military operations, because we started hearing about what the nation state Israel was doing with AI for that type of thing and targeting individuals and stuff. And we raised the concern back then, like, hey, but how do we know that this AI is identifying these people allegedly with their phones and stuff? And, is it ethical to just blow them up? It seems to be problematic. But it's interesting because now we have, on top of just AI, the cyborg aspect of this with cognitive electronic warfare. You see that step from, we have these human limits. We have AI who they don't have these limits. And then in between is this cyborg where you can just put on that helmet, man, put on that electronic helmet and integrate with the AI. And of course, people are freaking out about that whole cognitive electronic weaponry warfare. And it just so happens that today, Open PR, Worldwide Public Relations, presented the headline here: electronic warfare market next big thing by forecast. It says 2021 to 2028. I don't know why it says that. We're already most of the way through here. Size, share, and comprehensive research. And it says that electronic warfare market size was valued at $15 billion in 2020 and is projected to reach $23 billion by 2028. The electronic warfare is a warfare technology that comprises use of electromagnetic spectrum as a tool to deny the attack to deny and attack enemy assets. Multiple types of electronic warfare capabilities, such as electronic protection, electronic support, and electronic attack, are implemented in land, naval, airborne, and space platforms. Depending on requirement of the industry, electronic warfare offers covert, fast, and effective defense services, which can be made available to commercial and government applications. I mean, again, the military-industrial complex, coming up with the technology, using the technology in warfare to win wars, and then the corporations and the governments can publicly start to profit off of it with a more suitable product for the general public there. But I just think the timing of it is hysterical that we have the internet at large finally learning about the electronic weapons. And again, as I mentioned earlier, going from, hey, it's a conspiracy theory that these things exist, to it's in the military budget. And, amidst the outrage, it's kind of, they published this thing where it's like, hey, look, all right, we didn't warn you about this stuff. It was all conspiracy theory until it's not anymore. It's part of your tax dollars are going to this electronic warfare. But look, the market's going to grow. You can make a profit. Just invest in some of the right electronic warfare companies, and you're going to make it out okay. All right, just relax, everybody. Just pay up. Put your hard-earned dollars. It's inflating away anyway. You can buy gold and silver, or you can invest in the military-industrial complex and hedge against the fiat system that way. So I just thought it was funny that there's a clear pattern here where it's the things are rolling out, and the public relations side of it is like, hey, yeah, this is a great opportunity for people, to get ahead of the commercialization of some of this technology. So, and I'm sure that Elon's what's the robot? Elon's robot thing. I forget the name of the actual robot. The Optimus. Yeah, the Optimus is in line there to assist in some of this stuff too. So, hey, we're here, man. We're at that point. We're at that point where all the things we talked about.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
I mean, literally, we are there.
A clip of Elon Musk saying that in 10 years, saving for retirement will be irrelevant.
Yes. Well, Elon Musk also said that we are in the singularity. Like he said we are in the singularity. And again, he didn't specify if that means we're in the middle of a black hole, or if it's metaphorical, or if he's talking about the technological singularity that Ray Kurzweil talked about 25 years ago. Uncertain, but apparently, according to Elon, we're in the singularity. But you know what? We have some interesting, strange things going on out there when it comes to the propaganda, the 5th generation warfare that we're in. We're going to start off with Bill Gates here.
The super painful. We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein.
Bill Gates was seen in Times Square wandering around, ordering a hot dog and eating the hot dog. And it's very strange, folks. For those of you just listening, the video clip shows Bill Gates in Times Square. He's standing there. Clearly, there's some people around taking photos and video. It seems like a lot of people aren't noticing. But there's a strange moment where Bill Gates is looking around. He's got his hot dog, takes a bite out of the hot dog like it's an advertisement. And the internet's on fire, Basil, because what does it mean? Why is Bill Gates in Times Square eating a hot dog? Do you know what hot dog means? Q told us what hot dog means. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying he's a regular guy, man. He disappeared after he divorced his wife for mysterious Epstein-related reasons. He came out, said climate change is a hoax, and then, he's just living his life. Don't wonder where he is. He's just eating hot dogs with his 6 bodyguards surrounding him in Times Square. It's easy peasy. He just doesn't want to get pied in the face again.
So you think this is pure PR? This is, hey, Bill, we need to rebuild an image. Why don't you go into Times Square and order a halal hot dog And
like a regular New Yorker, man, just having a hot dog on the
New
street.
Yorker. Yeah, but also, I mean, if you want to really get the conspiracy theorists talking, you eat a hot dog. You know, because you know about the hot dog and have you seen the people that are keeping track of it's called like the pizza indicator for the government?
I've seen that all day. Yes, it's in relation to the U.S. just released a message to the Americans in Iran saying, get out now, get out without relying on the government. And the Pentagon pizza indicator, which is there are several pizza restaurants around the Pentagon, and they are somehow surveilling those pizza restaurants. And when business spikes, they'll get like 1,000% orders for pizzas in a few hours. That means
That's the
that
report
everybody's
today.
planning on staying at the Pentagon overnight. And you stay at the Pentagon overnight when you're part of some sort of military operation that's going to take place. So it looks like we might see the move on Iran, whatever it's going to be, probably
Cuba.
today,
or Mexico.
tomorrow. Yeah. People are saying
the Iran thing. It's the
Iran
people are saying Iran.
mostly. Iran will probably happen first, or it could be many at once. Who knows? But there will probably be big news on Iran on Wednesday. It could happen any moment. Looks like
The latest, you're right. The latest is the pizza index just spiked over 1,000%. And just for context, during the Maduro arrest or before the Maduro arrest, the pizza index peaked at 700%. So we're even higher at 1,000%.
Right.
That means, a bigger move, bigger than Venezuela. So that could be Iran. You're right. That might be Iran. So we'll keep track of that. But yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. The pizza and hot dog references for anybody who wasn't around during 2015, 2016. It was a big part of the Q exposure of the corruption of the pedophiles in our government and all that kind of stuff. One of the big talking points was that the leaders of our country use the phrase or the words hot dog and pizza as a code for children that are being trafficked. And that's been sort of the narrative of the truth seekers for a long time, which brings me, Basil, to this whole quagmire, this whole Q thing going on here.
Q the miserable, Q the desperate. What must I do to convince you people? You're right, Q.
Now, we've called QAnon a psyop from the beginning. I think it was late 2016 or 2017 when we went on record, or at least I did on record, to say that QAnon is probably some kind of psyop. And, it has its ebbs and flows. It had its moment in 2016, but after Trump became president, it was just still kind of an easy target for the mainstream media to sort of bash on Trump supporters. And it went kind of quiet for a few years. It felt like, especially during the Biden years, it kind of went dormant. But it's back, Basil. It's back in a big way, and not so much. And I think last episode we covered how the president of Israel, I believe, flipped over one of those sand time thingies, and on it was a phrase that is a very QAnon post phrase. I forget what the phrase was. It's like time's running out or something. And that kicked off a couple weeks here, or a few days at the very least, of people noticing that the government accounts of the United States government are showing or basically doing what QAnon has done for years. The X News reports here, Labor Department posts echoes QAnon phrase with Trump image. Posted Monday around...
They are government agencies that are under the executive branch.
Yeah. So posted Monday around 5:52 p.m., the message drew quick support from fans, seeing it as a nod to Trump's leadership in his second term, while critics called out the Patriots in control phrase as QAnon rhetoric from 2020. Interesting, 2020, because QAnon was happening way before then. Now, the post in question here is the U.S. Department of Labor. On X, the official account said this: "It's Monday. Patriots are in control. Let's get to work." American emoji and a picture of Trump, kind of in a dark shadow, black and white, and it says Patriots are in control. Now, this wasn't the first post that mentioned it. I believe a couple weeks ago, the Department of Labor also had a Patriots are in control and we're never giving up our fight to put America first. And, picture of Trump's eyes, I guess, his angry eyes with the captions, Patriots in control. So it's been a thing. Now, if it's just one post or if it's like some Q heads or Q tards or whatever you want to call them, breaking down some code that of the capital letters or the numbers or the time it was posted or something, that's one thing. That's happened for years where, people are like deciphering the code of the posts. But this is different. And the only reason why it's different is because they're using verbatim common tropes or sayings that come from the QAnon movement. Here's another one. U.S. Department of Labor. Trust the plan. Trust Trump. Of course, trust the plan was a big mantra for the Q crowd back in the day from several posts. Another similar one from the Department of Labor, the U.S. Department of Labor account. Reject globalism. Embrace Americanism. That was yesterday. This reject globalism conversation. It's fascinating. What is this, Alex Jones tweeting from 2008 for the U.S. Department of Labor? Like, what's going on? So just to get an idea here of what some of the Q heads are saying, okay, this is coming from a Q guy, like somebody who supports the Q movement. The U.S. Department of Labor sent another comm by posting a hold the line meme with President Donald Trump holding an umbrella and then tagging it, hold the line, Patriots. Quote, hold the line is a well-known phrase that we've come accustomed to in the Patriot community. But there's only one Q post that has that phrase in it. And he posts it here, Q4712. Hold the line, riders. Justice is coming. Q. And the meme with President Trump holding an umbrella is foreshadowing of the storm. Hold the line, Patriots. The storm is what's going to bring justice, and justice is coming. So yeah, they're not they're still on it, Basil. And something I did notice from this post, the United States Department of Labor hold the line, and Trump holding an umbrella with hold the line in there. The Q post in question here is 4714. He has a screenshot of it, and interestingly enough, it says 8kun, which is 8chan. Wasn't the original Q on 4chan? I know they moved 8chan at some point, but I don't.
They keep getting shut down. So when 4chan shut down, 8chan, then 8chan got shut down, turned into 8kun. And
right. Okay. So, but the thing that I wanted to point out is the number here, the posts. I don't know if it's like the reference number. It's not the ID number, but it's some kind of number of the post is 10650666. It's the devil's number, Basil. It's right there.
666.
So anyway, what do you make of this? All this Trump?
I'm not really taking it too seriously. I mean, my first instinct goes to, it's Trump has always done a good job of using the Q content, let's say, to bolster his support with his base and others. And I'm not even saying, I don't know, I'm not even necessarily being negative about that. He's a genius at creating a coalition of formerly, politically homeless people. You think around Trump's first administration, there's a lot of Q messaging like this as well, but it wasn't necessarily coming from executive branch, like actual government X accounts. But it was coming from like Michael Flynn, and Michael Flynn was a pretty steady part of the first Trump administration. There are some others too. I didn't necessarily follow so deeply to give a full book report on it, but Michael Flynn, a sort of famous example of someone who, I don't know if he was officially in the cabinet or if he was just like in the Oval Office very often or something, but that's, he kind of carried the Q thing for a long time. And there's a lot of stuff going on. If I was a sort of millennial PR professional for Trump and knew the sort of history of certain pieces of his diehard base, I would definitely, put the note out like, hey, let's put it out from all sorts of different executive branch organizations and just kind of pepper it in, baby, pepper it in, especially when you have such crazy series of events going around. It's kind of a perfect opportunity to at least, give some semblance of having things under control for a certain part of his base, especially because Trump had a really, 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 really hard time the past few months. We've talked about it, keeping his base enthusiastic with the Epstein stuff and even the sort of no wars stuff in Venezuela, etc. He's having a hard time, and kind of peppering this stuff in, obviously on a sort of a basic PR level, benefits some group of the base. But if it's true, I mean, I think I'm not super deep on the Q stuff, but I think most Q people think that Q is a collection of individuals inside the administration.
It's a white hat organization.
Yeah, it's like a
coalition, so to speak.
And they're in the administration. Like the administration is the one kind of putting out this information in one way or another, whether, like you said, it's a white hat group or like a subset or blah, blah, blah. I don't really know. So it certainly gives the mainstream media it makes the mainstream media seem a little crazy. I think that's a hidden benefit, if not one of the primary goals, is it gets the mainstream media all riled up in Blue Anon stuff as well. Now they're going through and saying, oh, there's a secret group in the Trump administration who's sending secret messages to the Q people. It kind of derails a little bit of the mainstream.
That's true. You're right. Yeah, because people are really pumped about this. This guy said, you're watching the systematic destruction of the old guard. Power will return to the people, and posted it.
Which is kind of true. I mean, we are objectively watching the world change in ways that, Q people would be expecting. There's no way around.
That's the thing. That's the thing that's really interesting, is that a lot of the promises of Q reform, or better yet, the arrest of all the evil people and, the downfall of the corruption and the pedophiles and all this kind of stuff, that's been the sentiment. And there's enough change going on already, with regime change in Venezuela and now Iran. And I mean, there's enough stuff going on, but I don't know if they're going to get what they ultimately want, which is, we've heard about the perp walks of the pedophiles, and, there's rumors out there now, and it's a resurfaced rumor. This narrative is about 10 years old, and it started with QAnon, which is that, hey, we're going to have some kind of event or emergency or something. The internet's going to shut down. We're going to have a blackout. We're going to have whatever. And that's when Trump's going to move and arrest all the corrupt leaders. And it's going to happen all at once. And it's going to be this, 24 to 48 hour period. Just prepare for it. It's going to be fine. And, maybe that's part of the whole, we're going to lose gravity for 7 seconds or something. Have you seen that, Basil? Where people are like, the Earth is going to stop gravity for 7 seconds or 8 seconds later this year. Like April, all that talk. Was it April?
April, gravity is supposed to stop for 7 seconds in April, which
7 seconds might be enough to
inside.
Get all the, round up all the pedophiles, as, people think they're getting raptured or something like that. I don't know. But it's this narrative again of justice, and we're close. And for Q people that have really been loyal to the Q movement, I mean, this must feel thrilling. This is like exactly what we've been waiting for 10 years. Trump draining the swamp and doing all this. So, people are very excited. It looks like patriots are in control, posted by the Department of Labor. It's so funny because, traditionally government agencies, not popular amongst the truth seekers, but Q really did a good job of presenting this whole white hat narrative, so that now you got these Yeah, they're calling it the Patriot Movement, where you got the truth seekers now, like, yeah, we're in charge. We got control of the Labor Department now. We got control of the all of the defense, and we're gonna clean it. We're cleaning it up, everybody. It's all going to plan. Trust the plan. Right. Trust the plan. The Patriots are in control. We're winning. Look at all the winning we're doing. Yeah. So anyway,
I mean, it's crazy stuff going on.
Look, we almost didn't do this story, but once X posted an article about it, just because I think people are recognizing that it's not coded anymore. It's pretty blatant. It's pretty. And my guess is that it could be, like you said, it could be just Trump leaning into the whole thing, or the people behind QAnon, the cyber crew, is simply they're adopted into the government, which is sort of the white hat narrative, I suppose. But really, even that, if that's an op itself, whoever was in charge of doing this whole operation has moved from, dropping some knowledge on 4chan in 2015 to 10, 11 years later. Now they're actually running, the Department of Labor and the DHS accounts on X. And now they can really show that they've moved up the ranks and they're really there. And it seems like it's the same marketing team, and a lot of it is marketing in a sense. But I don't know, man. I don't know why certain things are trending on my X account, Basil. But I don't think that there's a coincidence when it comes to a lot of the exposure of groups like CIA and Mossad. And then, firing up QAnon again, because QAnon's more of a galvanizing force. And the people behind it might be a little bit more in line with some of these groups that are being called out right now. It's a PR haven that's been sitting dormant for a few years. Maybe they're just reigniting it to keep the narrative alive of the main point being the main point, which is we're draining the swamp and we're replacing all the corruption and we're arresting all the pedophiles and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. Anything else on that, Basil?
Nope. I think you got it.
Okay, sweet. What else here? We had time for some Antarctica. It's been a while since we really reported on Antarctica. I know it's been a long time.
It's cold, Basil. It's cold. Antarctica, go burn.
Snowstorm. Antarctica. Ice. Scientists are penguins.
Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
And this is a beast update.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
They kind of come together here, so I'll walk you through the sequence. But we're going to start with futurism.com. Doomsday Glacier bombarded by earthquakes. Dun, dun, dun. Hundreds of earthquakes have been detected rattling Antarctica's Thwaites Glacier, also known as the Doomsday Glacier, the disintegration of which could send between 2 and 10 feet of devastating flooding to coastal communities worldwide. This stunning finding, published in a new study in the journal Geophysical Research Letters, suggests that this gigantic behemoth of ice, which is almost as big as the island of Great Britain, is even more fragile than experts feared, and that world governments' efforts to stop global warming haven't been nearly enough. To keep an eye on the imminent collapse, Australian National University seismologist Than Son Pham, sounds Vietnamese, suggests in a paper that a dedicated seismic network be located and maintained on the icy continent to, quote, monitor glacial dynamics, which may evolve rapidly in the coming decades or even years, end quote. The risk is high. Pham detected a total of 362 previously unrecognized seismic events between 2010 and 2023, and they mostly occurred in the West Antarctic region. So once again, nothing going on now other than freaking out about this now, even though it's been going on for the last 15 years. Thwaites Glacier, glacier earthquakes are detected at around magnitude 5 on the Richter scale and are often associated with iceberg calving in warmer months of the Arctic Circle, such as the ones in Greenland. By contrast, the dynamics that drive Antarctic earthquakes are little understood because there simply isn't enough data on them, and they tend to register at lower magnitude. So, okay, so we're just talking more fear mongering that this doomsday glacier is it's going to expose the hollow earth or flat earth, depending on who you talk to. In fact, speaking of flat earth, actually, before that, do you have any comments on this doomsday glacier, or is it the same old for you, Basil?
Yeah, let's keep it going. Keep the ball rolling.
So, all right. So, you know, the young kids these days, they're all about streaming. They're all about streaming, Basil. And they watch people like Aiden Ross streaming almost daily. Now, there's a clip here from kick.com/Aiden Ross sitting there with MrBeast. You know MrBeast, the biggest YouTuber in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I actually watched for some reason, I don't know why I was watching it. I think I was just scrolling on YouTube Shorts or something, and there was a clip of a guy who saw MrBeast like in a hotel room walking by or something like that, and he was waving and he was trying to get him to ask, trying to ask him a question or something like that. Apparently, the guy asking the question was a guy who won like $1 million a year before or something. And once he got wind of it, he tried to actually meet MrBeast for a couple minutes, and it kind of showed the amount of people that are around MrBeast and like how hard it is to get to him. And it was really kind of interesting. A bunch of people just, and they're not like, oh, it's a crew of like his friends. It's like old dudes and like people in suits, and it just looks very suspicious of like who are actually hanging out with guys like MrBeast who are worth billions of dollars here. But okay, so here's Aiden Ross with MrBeast, and listen to what they say, Basil.
Have you ever been to Antarctica?
Yeah.
Do you believe in the ice wall?
Yeah, I saw the ice wall. Well,
Yeah, he saw it too.
I can't say on stream. what I
No
saw.
way. But
'Cause
we'll
he-
talk about it later. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
He almost leaked it.
Let's just say you always need someone with you when you're in Antarctica.
Let's just say you always need someone with you when you're in Antarctica.
Dun, dun, dun.
When he was asked about the ice wall, he said there's an ice wall. What is going on, Basil? Why are the young people getting Federal Reserve knowledge from some crazy psychedelic TikTok videos, and MrBeast and Aiden Ross are talking ice wall, flat earth, dome earth, enclosed earth, with probably the most influential or most popular individual, or at least one of them, of the young people today, MrBeast. What is going on here?
Yeah, that's a good question. MrBeast is quite the interesting fellow. I have not confirmed all of this myself, but the word on the street is that MrBeast comes from a military family, and specifically a PSYOP
Any of that
military
surprises?
family.
Yeah,
Which wouldn't be surprising. But to be fair, I have not dug in and confirmed it for myself, but that's just the word on the street. And then the question becomes, why would he is obviously the most powerful PSYOP generator on Earth right now for young people. That's why the Rockefeller Foundation or the Rothschild Foundation?
Right. I think it was Rockefeller partnered with him. Yeah.
One of them, doesn't matter which one. They're both the same, basically. Yeah. Partnered with him specifically to activate young people in for philanthropy.
Beast philanthropy.
Yeah, specifically philanthropy, as we know now, with all the NGOs crumbling, USAID, this kind of stuff. Very powerful for the Rockefeller Foundation to activate the premier child brainwashing expert, possibly from a military family. To kind of it's a little bit to me like the like the Department of Labor tweeting Q stuff a bit. There's some sort of op to make young people enthusiastic about some conspiracy theories that we are also very enthusiastic about. You'd think if we were being used for some sort of military psyop, that we would, have more viewers or make more money. But that's okay. It's MrBeast. He's getting billions for talking about the ice wall. Or who knows? Maybe he's going rogue, baby. He was acting like he wasn't supposed to be talking about it.
It's true. He did stop himself. That creates, but that is, that's part of the op is you create the Streisand effect,
Yeah.
The bro in the back, I don't know who that guy is, but he's just, what is he, a Scott Stapp clone from?
One thing I find a little bit suspicious, specifically about the clip that you played, is that there's lots of edits. There's 4 or 5 edits in that clip.
There?
Yeah.
I didn't notice any. Let me play it again. It's only 22 seconds.
Okay. You don't have it on the screen.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Here we go. Try it again.
Have you ever been to Antarctica?
Yeah.
Do you believe in the ice wall?
Yeah, I saw the ice wall.
Well,
Yeah, he saw it too.
I can't say on stream.
No way. But
Because
we'll talk about it later. That's crazy.
He almost leaked it.
Let's just say you always need someone with you when you're in Antarctica.
Maybe
I
it
don't
was
see any
just
edits.
yeah. Maybe it
might
was
have been
just
glitching on your side. Yeah,
on my side. It was probably
I don't
just
think there's
glitching.
any edits there. But yeah, it's you never know with these live streams. You never know.
Mr. Beast was staying quiet there. It was all the guy in the back.
The guy in the
that
back,
was
I'm telling you, the
kind of
Scott
speaking
Stapp
for
lookalike.
him. Yeah, that's funny.
With arms wide open. That guy. He looks like his son or
Talk about it.
something.
Keep your mouth zipped, Mr. Beast.
Can't talk about it, but you got to always have someone with you in Antarctica. Didn't he go down there for one of his game shows or something? I forget what it was. He was there
I'm
recently.
sure. I don't really recall.
Yeah,
but I'm sure he is.
Okay, well, there's
Mr.
that.
Beast.
Keep an eye on Mr. Beast, Antarctica. Maybe Mr. Beast is the one that's going to introduce the Nephilim penguins to the world. And, considering the fact that the glacier is melting, the Doomsday Glacier is melting, it's going to be Mr. Beast to save us all from this catastrophic thing. So, all right.
I want to thank Dame ARIRL, Baroness of the Canary Cry, Roundtable of Knights and Dames, for sending this story. CES 2026 just happened. Lots of technology being revealed here. But this one, of course, very close to our hearts as the progenitor of the awareness of sewer surveillance. Before it was cool, baby, sewer surveillance. And
We'll control them with toileting.
Toilets!
Now we've followed, some high-tech toilets in the past, but this one was just revealed.
Bill Gates
Yeah.
has that high-tech toilet. Remember that?
Yeah, lots of high-tech toilets, lots of sewer surveillance being done openly now. It used to be, a Canary Cry conspiracy theory that they were watching the sewer wastewater, that they were doing all this. Through COVID, it's now, much like directed energy weapons, a pretty open, non-secret that you don't own your sewer data either. This is coming from Quartz Magazine. The headline is AI toilets are here. Yay! It says smart thermostats, they're old news. Smart TVs, been there, done that. But smart toilets, that's a level of home automation that few have been willing to breach. At this year's CES show, however, a pair of tech companies are hoping people will make the smart potty their number 1 and number 2 priority. Some of these commodes are turning heads. The Vovo Smart Toilet was a 2026 innovation honoree by the Consumer Technology Association, which cited its benefits for the elderly and people with disabilities. And like the Canary Cry theory of everything states, it always starts. Every beast system, technological slavery, dystopian, device that will ever enslave us in our entire life always starts for medical purposes. Okay, this is for grandma, this is for grandpa, this is for people with disabilities, and so you better not argue with it, or else you're in big trouble. The toilet comes with a few bells and whistles that have already been incorporated into high-end latrine world. Things like automatic lid opening and closing, auto flushing, bidet functions. It even has a heated seat. What makes the Vovo Smart Toilet, which is called Neo, and they put a parenthetical.
Yeah, I'm going to go sit on Neo for a few minutes and just leave me alone.
It's the chosen one, Gons. Neo is the name of the toilet. Standout is a built-in urine analysis sensor that tracks the user's health, displaying results on a wall-mounted monitor.
Oh my gosh.
So straight up urine analysis when you use it. And the smart potty will monitor usage via an AI feature called Jindo the dog. Why is it called Jindo the dog? I have no idea. But what does Jindo the dog, the AI feature, do? Well, it sends an automatic alert to family members if the owner doesn't use the toilet for more than 12 hours, something that's useful for seniors living on their own. So, of course, it's for seniors, and you, as a family member, when someone I know goes into senior living, I want to make sure to get a notification on my phone that tells me
the potty.
Yes, that they're using the toilet.
Good job, Grandpa. Grandpa, you haven't been on the toilet in 12 hours. What's going on? Where are you? What are you doing?
And of course, yes, I'm going to see how we're going to come get you. I'm going to put you on that toilet myself. And of course, the implication here that is not stated in the article, but we all know is if it's able to send us a notification that Grandpa hasn't used the toilet in 12 hours, that means that data is available to anyone who's ready to buy it. Plus, all the urine analysis that comes out of the sensor. I mean, this is, again, a breach not only of the data privacy and surveillance that we should be able to expect. We have privacy on the toilet. But it's also sort of a very disturbing sort of spiritual surveillance,
It is.
This is between me and God, okay? What happens on the toilet. I don't want this. I don't need it. But there's nothing we can do. It's coming. Now,
what is up with this? So this company is called Vovo Smart Toilet. It says here wellness company Vivu.
Don't get ahead. We're getting to Vivu.
Why is Volvo? Okay, all right. We'll talk about Vivu. Okay.
Neo is going to be
Volvo and
$5,000 if you want them tracking
You want Volvo.
So now wellness company Vivu. Meanwhile, this is a different one. There's Vovo and there's Vivu, and as far as I can tell, they're not related to one another. There's just sort of a lack of originality in the AI toilet surveillance game. But Vivu, meanwhile, which has been making at-home urine tests for years, is debuting a universal clip-on hydration tracker for existing toilets. Okay, so this one you don't gotta buy the whole toilet.
Cyborg toilet now.
It's a mod. This is a toilet mod.
It's a plug-in for your toilet.
It's all about mods, You get your flashlight, you get your bayonet, you get your thermal optics, and you get your hydration tracker. That device will analyze urine for 8 wellness markers with what the company calls fully no-touch optical sensing. All right, they're going to shoot your urine with a laser and tell you what's up. A fancy way of saying you won't have to pee on a strip. Okay. While the thought of a smart toilet is certainly odd, both products make use of everyday objects to provide a deeper look into health issues and help at-risk people. Okay, they're at risk. Don't be a racist. Maintain their independence. And then it goes on to toothbrushes and things like that. But this was very good. I mean, this is kind of the pinnacle of sewer surveillance. And as all the best surveillance products in our life are, they are done on purpose. They are done expensively. They are done at will. And they are done with the hopes of getting a notification every time our family members use the toilet. We're finally getting there to the technocratic utopia we've all been praying for. So
I demand human waste sovereignty. We must have control over our waste.
Well, and it's kind of a funny joke, but it's actually very serious. Nobody's campaigning against sewer surveillance, and not just the AI toilet. The AI toilet's, obviously a pretty easy example, but they're testing all of our wastewater all the time. And they talked about, this was about 2021. They were reporting that they can basically get it down, if they find something in the wastewater that they don't like, whether it's, drugs or COVID or whatever. They said they can basically get it down to
the street you're on or something.
Yeah, well, they even did it more. They're like based on all sorts of nonsense, like AI nonsense. They can basically get it down to like 3 houses. They can kind of figure out within 3 to 5 houses where this wastewater comes from. And, of course, this data is available to the highest bidder, just like any other data. It's a beautiful thing, man. And there's nothing we can do about it. And because it's such a sensitive topic and it's kind of silly and people don't take it seriously, there's not a lot of very serious campaigning against it or even awareness, Gons.
Well,
and that's what we're here for, to bring awareness to the problem.
Well, it's tough because the infrastructure is established. All of our sewage systems in our cities and towns, and you really got to go off grid. You really got to figure out ways to
baby. Get your own septic tank. You can get some composting toilets. You can use that anywhere. What would they do? Think of the wellness checks that like the city would send to your house if they noticed that no sewage was coming out of your house.
That's true. It's gonna fire off all the indicators. Like, hey, you need a wellness check. We got to make sure this guy's still breathing. He hasn't used his toilet in a week.
It's about health. One last thing before we thank some producers, Gons. We follow Jim Cramer, Inverse Jim Cramer. Put a link there at the bottom of the doc.
Oh, I
Jim
saw this
Cramer,
too.
just today, 6:19 a.m. posted sovereign money is coming. And if Jim Cramer says it, the opposite is coming true. He's probably thinking bank issued stable coins is sovereign money.
That's true. No, don't tell us this, Jim Cramer. Take it back, please. This is
Cramer curse, man.
It's gonna crash the entire whole sovereign money movement. Oh man, it's already here. God gave us sovereign money. It's called gold and silver. I think God gave it to us already.
It's called, what it's really called, Gons? It's called value for value. And that's what we do here, folks. We are on the value for value model. You'll notice we don't take any money from corporations, commies, cartels, government organizations, the Vatican, NGOs, Somali daycare centers. We don't take money from any of those silly gooses. We are entirely sustained, funded, and made possible by the producers of our show. It's because it's value for value, baby. If you get any value from what we do here, we try to make as much value as possible and often as we can. And if this show brings any value to your life, you are now blessed with the knowledge that it can only continue and survive when listeners like you become producers. And you can become a producer by the show, by going to canarycry.support. Go check it out. And you can support the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Okay, lots of ways to do it. If you got time on your hands, you got some skills, you want to help us out, we got all sorts of big plans and we need people to help us do it. You can send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com if you want to get involved. We've got people helping us out with their talent, artists, musicians, AI prompters, whatever it is, baby, that's what we're doing. We got some great art to share today, some meme lords coming in. Or if all else fails, you can support the show financially, and there's lots of ways to do this. Of course, you can come in and support any individual show with any dollar amount that you like. The dollar amount barely even is what matters, but the act of stepping out in faith, supporting the show, picking whatever number makes sense to you in your life, just like the widow at the temple in the New Testament there. Or you can come in and join on a monthly producership. You can set it and forget it to support the show every month. That's you saying, I get value, been getting value, plan to continue to get value. And I know that only with the participation of especially our monthly producers. A big old shout out to all of our monthly producers, whether you're on the Supply Drop or the T-shirt Council, or just picked your own amount to support the show. Our monthly producers give us really the freedom and the well-being of being able to look 30 days ahead and say, you know what? Okay, at least we're working with this for the next month. So God bless you. You can come in, sign up for any monthly amount over there at canarycry.support, but consider joining the Supply Drop. And I want to give a big shout out to producer Monica, who on X tweeted an awesome video she made. She did an unboxing of her Canary Cry Supply Drop. It was awesome.
We need more of this.
We need more of this. I retweeted it to all the Canary Cry followers. I'm going to retweet it to the rest of the world here too. But yes, she went through everything in the fourth quarter Canary Cry Supply Drop. She had her Canary Cry calendar, her gold back, all the stickers, all the cool stuff that goes out every time. And so big shout out to Monica. Her X handle, if you're not following Monica, you should go ahead and do that, is at 50s. I believe it's at 50s housewife. I wrote it down. Where did I write it down? I wrote it down somewhere. Here it is. Yes. At 50s 50s house_wife at 50s house_wife. Go give her a follow. A great member of the Canarium. And thank you very much for doing that unboxing. And you can get in on that supply drop game. Go to canarycrysupplydrop.com. That's where you sign up to support the show for $33.33 a month. And every quarter, we send you a big old envelope or bag or box or something filled with custom created Canary Cry gear. Sometimes it's apparel. Sometimes it's precious metals. Sometimes it's survival gear. We do GMO-free gardening seeds every year for the first quarter. So we will probably do that again. All sorts of great stuff. canarycrysupplydrop.com. Now, we also have our executive producers to thank, Gons, because these are people who come in and support any individual episode like this one for $100 or more. They're very special to us. It goes a long, 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 long way to keeping us alive every week. And so we want to thank them now. These are the executive producers of episode 906, starting with executive producer Jinja.
Jinja. Thank you very much, Jinja.
Thank you very much. Eldon's Wordable in the YouTube chat says GMO-free Bitcoin. Who knows? Maybe some GMO-free Bitcoin might show up. Thank you very much. Executive producer Jinja comes in to support the show with a nice round number, very generous. And just a good reminder for anybody out there, when you support the show, whether it's executive producers or regular producers, whatever it is, if you support the show in a nice round number, like on the 10 or the 100, that's you telling us that you'd prefer we do not disclose that amount. And so we don't. But we thank you very much. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount, put some sort of funky number on there. Put some sauce on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 33 cents, 77 cents, 11.11, something like that. That's you telling us we don't mind disclosing it. Like our next executive producer, Sir LX Protocol V2, Baron of the Brian Protocol.
Let's go.
Right, he comes in for $100 and 33 cents.
Illuminatus!
And let's see, he's been supporting the show for 453 episodes in a row. Very impressive. Thank you. And has been executive producing for 107 episodes in a row. God bless you, Sir Alex Protocol.
Oh, boom.
And let's see, last but not least, we've got executive producer Felicia D comes in. Thank you.
Felicia D, thank you.
Right. No note, nice round number, keeping it simple. Appreciate it. Executive producer Felicia D, God bless you.
Thank you, Felicia D. Appreciate you.
Okay, that's all the executive producers. And I guess this should stop coming as a surprise. But as far as producers that come in and support the show for under $100, we have none of them. This is a very short list today, except for, as always, we've got CageRattlerCoffee.com.
Cage Rattler Coffee.
where value for value never tasted so good.
That's right. Go to cagerattlercoffee.com. This is a Canarian who got his act together, and they said, no longer should Canarians have to purchase coffee, moldy, gross, burnt coffee from big corporations who hate everything about what they believe in. Instead, there should be coffee by Canarians for Canarians. This is small batch quality beans from all over the world. The options are basically endless over there at cagerattlercoffee.com. There's also subscription options if you want to set it and forget it and make sure the coffee shows up every month. And this is just for Canarians, roasted by another very talented, very loving Canarian. There's a lot of Canary Cry love that goes into this. And you're going to love it. You know, you got your Nephilim Hunter dark roast, your Emu Wrangler medium roast. We got beans from all over the world. You can even get a variety pack. And I have been alerted. Let's see if I can find it. I'm going to find it. I think it was a text message. Let's see if it was a text message regarding a, what is it? A discount code is continuing for the new year. I believe the discount code is still New Year. All caps, there it is. All caps, one word, New Year. Let's see, running a Cage Rattler special right now through the end of the month. 10% off all sample packs from now until the end of July. New Year. Go check it out. Cage Rattler Coffee. Get that sample pack. The sample pack is fun because it's kind of hard to decide. There's so many options, and they're all excellent options. I can vouch for that myself. But, you know, I'm not necessarily a coffee guy, so I don't know if I like Peruvian beans or Costa Rican beans or Nicaraguan beans. I don't know about that. But the sampler pack's great. You can get all sorts of beans roasted in all sorts of different ways for one very convenient purchase. And a portion of every sale comes to support the show. So you're supporting the show, you're supporting your mornings, and you're supporting other Canarians and their families. This is the way to do it, folks. And hey, if you got a skill or a business or some sort of product you want to make available to other Canarians, talk to us. Get on the line, baby. Let's go. We got to build the parallel economy here. So thank you very much. Go to cagerattlercoffee.com.
Yep. Let's do it.
We got some people who came in under the $7.77 amount, usually to keep their streaks going. I have got you on the list. We're going to thank you individually on Wednesday, but thank you very much. Yep. And other than that, we do have some very talented artists coming in today, guys. Let's thank some.
Yes, sir. Go to canarycry.art to submit your artwork and help us build the culture behind the community. We have a little catching up to do. First off, I have a series of memes that were created by IAnon, and the note here reads, I'm not as OG as I'd like to be. I did, however, go back and listen to every CCR episode before the website broke. Yeah, we got to fix that thing. I think I started to listen to CCNT around 2020 when it dropped on my radar through the Face Like the Sun channel. As someone who still does art by hand, I'm somewhat offended by AI art. Link Trap Love was awesome, though. A necessary evil, I suppose. But despite this AI art stuff, I'd like to share a few short related memes I've made. And so that's what these are, Basil. Some memes
Great
that
memes.
are fantastic. Yeah.
Love the memes. The memes are good. Keep the memes coming, folks, because, you know, we got to have our Canary Cry psyops going, or else what's the point? There's no way to compete unless you've got your own Canary Cry psychological operations unit. Let's see, which one do we want to start with here? Yes, this one. I will pull this up. This is a great one. This is, I forget what this one's called, but it's the sort of X-ray vision of the brain. And in the brain here, it says Basil wanting to flirt. Then there's an arrow that goes to the mouth. And what comes out of the mouth? Have you heard about the value for value model? Babes love the value for value model. I can tell you that. Men, listen to me. If you're a single guy out there or whatever, or maybe you're married and you need a way to spice up your marriage, just start talking about the value for value model. Okay, this is something deeply ingrained in the female physiology. They are all about caretaking. They're all about value for value. And if you're trying to, if you're trying to woo the ladies, young men, just get into value for value. This is what's going to change the whole game for you. Thank you very much, Ianon, for this.
There's more.
Next up, we've got the old man from Family Guy. The Pepperidge Farm commercial says, "Remember the days when Basil would say that if we hit a certain amount of reviews per week, he's gonna go, ooh, woo? Pepperidge Farm remembers." Thank you very much for that. Yeah, old school meme here. Very good. Yes, it's been a long time since I was bribing everybody to leave ratings and reviews for whatever sort of dark reward that they wanted. But the offer still stands. We haven't made a call out for ratings and reviews in a long time. I'm assuming that means we have not received a rating and a review in a long time.
I'll check. I'll take a look because there's another one. Another
news talk. Okay, another meme, you say?
Yeah, there's another meme. This one's old Asian man there, and it says leave a rating and review.
This is a grumpy Asian dad is here, and says leave. Maybe you should read this in your dad's voice. You should
leave a rating and review, or bring shame to your family.
Right. Don't bring shame to your family. Leave a rating and review. That was also a big part of the call for rating and reviews back in the day. We have a whole jingle. We have a whole jingle of your grumpy dad telling people to leave ratings and reviews. Looks like the last rating and review we got on Canary Cry News Talk on Apple Podcast was December 16th, 2025. 5 stars. Great podcast. I come here for the news. Simple yet effective. Thank you very much. That was from Niffle. B Signs says LSBA 5 stars, like, subscribe, bell button, all. Love this show. That was back in September. Okay, September to December. That's a pretty wide range. So why don't you do it? If you haven't done it yet, go to Canary Cry News Talk.
Yeah, get us to 1,000 ratings and reviews. We're at least on my screen here, we're at 845. So
in America, yes, American ratings and reviews, we're at 845. We are over 1,000 worldwide, but it only shows you what country you're in there. So go leave a rating and review. All right,
there's one more meme. We got one more.
We got what's this guy's name? I almost called him Emu. This is Elmo. This is Elmo trying to decide between a pile of not so yummy looking fruits and a pile of cocaine. Elmo is labeled as me. The fruits are mainstream media. Canary Cry News Talk is the cocaine. Next cell. Elmo's face down in the pile of cocaine, aka Canary Cry News Talk. A little bit of Colombian marching powder there. And Canary Cry should get you buzzed just as much as a big pile of that white gold from South America. Thank you very much, Elmo. Thank you very much, Ianon, for your wonderful memes. You can find all this art, and there's some more art, so don't go anywhere yet. But we got you can get all this art. I send it out in the newsletter. So go to canarycry.party. Right at the top there, you'll see you can join the newsletter. Highly recommend you do. Lots of good stuff in there.
Okay, we got one more piece of art to mention today. It's from Caleb. Thank you, Caleb. And he has a little note here that says, "Army lads, your last episode inspired me." And he's got an anchor emoji, a pirate flag emoji, and a wave emoji.
This is so good.
This is so good. It's 1 minute and 47. I guess we'll play the whole thing later.
We'll play the whole thing at the end of the show. I think we should play both of the recent music videos at the end of the show here for the Canary Cry mixtape. Well, let's give about 30 seconds. This is the Pirate Canary Cry music video, of course, wonderfully executed AI. You've got Gons on guitar, Basil playing drums. We're dressed as pirates, doing all sort of pirate stuff. Let's kick it. Gons. It's not playing on the stream. It's not playing on the stream, Gonzo.
It's not. What do you mean?
No,
Why didn't you tell me
stop playing on
sooner?
the stream. I was telling you.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Okay, here we go. Let's
I
try this
know
again.
you were
then.
listening to a very good pirate song. Still not on the stream.
What?
And not on the stream. It's not coming through, baby.
You mean the audio's not coming through? The video?
Audio is not coming through. No audio.
Okay. All right. Well, then we got to do this again. Which is
Sorry
I don't know
to the
why I have to
podcast
do this.
listeners. You're gonna
Every
get to
the
listen.
listeners are going to hear. Yeah, they're going to.
They're gonna love it. It's good. You want to listen to this all day long, so it's a little bonus for the podcast listeners.
I don't know why the audio does that with StreamYard. It's very annoying. Okay, here we go.
Up a little bit.
What? Still no sound?
No, it's here. It's just really quiet on the stream. Can you turn it up?
Where the headlines run deep, Captain Basil and Dom's got the beast system beat with a Bible in hand and a cry like the bird. They plunder the lies, spread the truth they've heard. Heisting the sails on the Canary cry ship, deconstructing the news with the...
Okay, I don't want to give it all away. Got to wait till the end to hear the whole thing or see the whole thing.
Hang around. It's going to be great. We'll pair it with the music video that someone sent in about a week ago.
Which one was that? Oh, the AI video is what you're talking about.
The lint trap video. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Caleb. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Ianon. Thank you to everybody, all of our artists, whether they be by hand or by AI. It all comes from that beautiful connection that we have as co-creators with God. We appreciate it very much, and you're bringing the culture to the community here. Go to canarycry.art. If you've made something for the show, get the kids to make something for the show. Go to canarycry.art. You can upload it there. Fill out a little form. Goes into our spreadsheet so we never lose another piece of art.
Yep. There we go. Okay, here we go. It's the other one's loaded and ready to go for post show. So
locked and loaded, baby.
Caleb World Order at the end of the show.
Thank you, Caleb.
Yep.
Okay, let's see here. We do have a couple of meetups going on.
Oh, right. I was supposed to update the meetup page. I did not do that for the latest one. What's the latest meetup that's planned here?
All right. So I'm actually pulling it up right now. It looks like my
I know we have the February 7th meetup in Louisville, Kentucky. That's one of them.
That's right. Hold on one second, because we got to remind everybody that the meetups are extremely important, folks. The meetups have been few and far between for the last year, but 2026 is looking good, okay? You're going to want to get to these meetups, finding people in your area, and they are there. It's just a matter of luring them out of their bunkers to come meet up with other Canarians. Things are going to get wild. We do not know how rowdy things will get this year, but you're going to want to be hooked up and good friends with fellow Canarians in your area, people who know what's going on, people who know what's coming, and people who are ready. Because, as both believers in Christ and as Canary Cry community, you're going to want somebody on the level. You're right. We have of course, the Louisville, Kentucky meetup on February 7th at 3 p.m. on Saturday, February 7th at the Whirling Tiger in Louisville, Kentucky. You can RSVP or ask questions or details to lookglassdarkly@gmail.com. Lookglassdarkly@gmail.com. Go over there, Louisville, Kentucky. Maybe Tim Burchett will show up to that one. If anybody knows Tim Burchett, let's get him to show up to the Canary Cry meetup. Now, we've got a Colorado meetup, okay? We've had some Colorado meetups in the past that were absolutely huge. So the Canarians are in Colorado. Let's see if we can get them to come out to North Glen, Colorado meetup. Is
there a flyer for this yet or no?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned to you before the show. It's from.
Oh, you did? I didn't hear.
Yeah, well,
I'll find it.
You can find it. Yeah, just do Colorado meetup. This is from, actually, we can say this because they gave it to us. This is from Kona. Producer Kona Let's see. Oh, wow. Producer Kona put their phone number on there and
Phone number
everything.
on there, yeah,
Okay.
wow.
So this is North Glen, Colorado at the Prost Brewing Company, North Glen, Colorado, February 28th. It's a Saturday, also at 3 p.m. RSVP with Kona, and Kona puts their number here, 720-602-3719, 720-602-3719. Talk to Kona there. I'm sure that is a safe phone number that Kona is going to be totally fine with putting out there. So if you're in Colorado, North Glen, I'm going to look that up. Let's see where North Glen, Colorado. That's how they say it in Colorado.
Colorado. Is that how you say it?
Colorado. It's
Colorado.
got that soft D. Like
I've been to
the
Colorado.
Spanish. I have also been to Colorado.
It's
Great
beautiful
place.
there.
Let's see. North Glen is between Broomfield and Thornton. It's at the corner of Interstate 87 and Colorado Highway 128. Get on over there. Let me zoom out. Oh, it's north of Denver. Okay, it's in the Denver metropolitan area. So go check it out. North Glen, coincidentally, in the north. And I bet it's a glen. I bet there's trees and a bubbling brook there. Thank you very much to Kona for that. Colorado Canarians. Ooh, I know for a fact we have Colorado Canarians in that area.
All right, I am refreshing the meetup page. Everybody go refresh the meetup page because the
everybody go to canarycrysupplydrop.com. That's where you can see where all the meetups are. Go to canarycrysupplydrop.com. If there's not one near you, put one on yourself. Pick a time, pick a place, send that time and place to us at canarycryradio@gmail.com. We will tell the world, at least the Canary Cry world. And you can, we'll post it on canarycrymeetups.com. We'll put it on the newsletter. And you can also text the word, single word, meetups with an S to 877-740-3226. That gets you put on our meetups text message list, where I need to send some things out to our meetups text message list so people know that there's meetups coming on. That's a good way to stay connected. And while you're at it, you can also text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. That'll put you on the Canary Cry text message alert system. Highly recommend it. We'll send you out a little text message. I will send you out a little text message before every show. It's very fun. You'll never miss a show unless you really want to. But the best part is that you can text us back at that number. I see them, I read them, I love them. I cannot carry on a conversation with you on that service because it is very expensive for us to do that. But sometimes I read text messages on the show. Get that producer jingle ready, Gons, because we do have a prayer request coming in.
Hold on one second. My audition just crashed.
Oh,
That's not a good
no.
sign. Okay, producers here.
Producers.
Producers, assemble!
Let's see. Producers, you know who you are. It's everybody. And when you hear that jingle, that means it's time to pray because a prayer request came in. This came in from 678. I think this is TDL Prez, Bella, and Mai Chun. Says, please call in the prayer warriors. My brothers, Happy New Year and God bless. We were awarded with a foreclosure in this real estate issue where the tenants weren't paying or responding to anything. So now we have to figure out how to evict a police officer. Ooh, yikers. I don't know. I don't mind if you share this, as we will need all the prayers we can get. Much love to the Canary crew, TD, Bella, and Mai Chun. Thank you very much for that. Goodness gracious. You've been talking about this real estate issue for a few months now. But yeah, finding a way to evict a police officer, that is crazy. Let's just pray that the Lord works on the heart of these tenants who have been abusing the tenant system, and that the rightful possession of this property gets returned to the rightful owners, and that above all, that God's glory is made apparent to all parties involved through this whole thing. God's got a third way and an amazing way to bring glory to his name and his children unto himself, even when things are as wild as this. We're praying for you, TD. Thank you very much for the text.
Yep, praying for you.
540 says, always the best text of the day. Good to see you guys. Thank you very much. 540. 250 says, blessings, gents. You are in my prayers. What a praise report to hear about your dad, Gons, is cancer-free. Praying he stays that way. Amen. Let's do it.
Yep.
Let's
sir.
see.
Thank you.
One great note here from 850 says Canary. Hello from Tallahassee, Florida. My name is Joel. He gives his full name there. I don't know if he knew I was going to read this, so I'll skip the full name. But his name is Joel. He's been a listener for a few years. I discovered the original Age of Deceit early on and was blown away. Somehow that brought me to the podcast and listening in. It's kind of like my church. LOL. Gratitude for the spiritual encouragement that I get from the ideas and breakdowns. You two are too funny, but I love your energy. Stay the course, brothers in Christ. Thank you very much, 850, Joel.
Thank you.
And I see you started the text message with the word canary followed by a feather emoji. I'm assuming that was your attempt to get on the list. Because it is a robot that makes you get on the list and not us, make sure to send that word canary separately and clean with no emojis. That'll make sure that you get on the list, Joel. Thank you. So there you go, folks. Y'all should do this too. Text the word canary to 877-740-3226.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to chat about? Did we miss anything?
I don't think so. I mean, the U.S. Department of Labor account's tweeting again. I don't know if this is cute, but they said the future belongs to the patriot. Embrace Americanism with a dark eagle that says embrace Americanism.
Cool.
Americanism. Do we have to embrace another ism? Can't we just Jesus-ism?
It's kind of funny as the Department of Labor, too. One of the sort of more boring executive departments, but hey, sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, thank you
Okay.
to all of our producers. We have some producers who help us out with their time, and you know who it is. It's the beautiful, the one, the only Time Stamper.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
It looks like we did not get timestamps for the last step. Well, actually, I think Jade Bouncerson is literally on it right now.
Yeah,
so.
she's on it, dude. She knows what she's
on
doing.
it.
Thank
Yeah,
you very
she's on
much, Jade Bouncerson, for helping us out with that. It means a lot.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Stuff. And of course, thank you to Jam, who heads up Telegram and sends us links. Thank you to Adam42, who heads up the Discord channel. If you are someone who uses Discord or Telegram, or you want to connect with other Canarians online, join the Discord or join the Telegram by going to canarycry.party. You'll see the invite links there. Thank you to Joe for the feedback. Thank you to Clank for everything you do, Clank. Thank you to Sir Ike, of course, for all the craziness that he deals with for us. And share the show, folks. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with whoever will listen, because the time is short. The world has totally changed. And if there's nothing else to do, is to share the love of Christ and share Canary Cry News Talk. So go check it out. We call it Rattling Cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone.
Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Guns, you got any last words?
We will see you on Wednesday, which is Take a Missionary to Lunch Day.
Okay. Take a missionary to lunch day, folks.
Take a missionary to lunch. Find
Wednesday.
one, feed them.
It
Do it
will
Wednesday.
probably also be America Takes Over Iran Day. And that
That's
will
true.
be very exciting as well. So don't miss Wednesday's show. It's going to be great, and you're going to want to make sure to glean as much sanity from the Canarian as possible. And let's see here. Produce the show, go to the meetups, all the things. All right, everybody. Stay tuned for the Canary Crime mixtape at the end for some awesome music videos. And make sure to tune in next time to Canary Crime News Talk. But until then, think outside.
Toilets! 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 Feed more. Toilets! Give me a break. Toilets! Toilets! Do not come back, you Nazi psychopath! Toilets! Armageddon's on the way. Toilets!
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye!
Armageddon's on the way.
Can I tell you a sort of a twisted pleasure that I have? It's okay. No. Clearing out that limp trap. Clearing out that limp trap. Clearing out that limp trap. Clearing out that limp. Clearing out that limp trap. Clearing out that limp trap. Clearing out that limp trap.
It takes time. Oh, a lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. I was like, oh, a lint catcher. It's a great reset. Oh, a lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. Oh, a lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love peeling off that big old lint trap, rolling it into a ball, peeling off that big old lint trap. Just like throwing it in the trash, really. Should I be saving this?
No.
You could knit it into a scarf or something?
No.
Surely. It's very soft.
No.
This would make really good fire starter. You are a weird prepper. Hoarder. Like a weird guy, man. Weird prepper. Not normal, but like a weird guy, man. Clearing out that lint trap.
No.
Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap. That lint trap. I know it's gross, folks.
A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. I was like, oh, a lint catcher. It's a great reset. Oh, a lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. A lint catcher.
I love that. I'm constantly having to remind myself to wear a pink shirt for the show. Constantly having to remind myself, save the dryer lint, use it as fire starter, knit a scarf, save the dryer lint.
Toilets! Out on the digital scene where the headlines run deep, Captain and Gong's got the beast system beat with a Bible in hand and a cry like the bird. They plunder the lies, spread the truth they've heard. Heisting the sails on the Canary cry ship, deconstructing the news with a prophetic whip. From the Nephilim of old to the end time storm, these pirate preachers keep the faithful warm. Yo ho, Canary cry, raise the flag, declaring Lord. Vital and guns cutting through with the sword. In the fifth war, they raid the dark night. There's podcast pirates fighting for the light. Yo ho, Canary cry. Value for value we sail. Jesus is Lord, and the truth will prevail. Yo ho, Canary cry, raise the flag, declare it Lord. Muzzle and guns cutting through with the sword. In the 5th Gen War, they raid the dark night. There's podcast pirates fighting for the light. Yo ho, Canary cry. but I'm headed for the dryer door. Little silver handle, heart beating like I'm 16. I pull it open slowly, like I'm stepping in a daydream. Lint trap love, yeah, you're my little treasure. Soft gray clouds in a tiny woven heaven. I breathe you in, and the world feels far away. I save it all, save the limb for a rainy day.
When the news of the day gets to feeling like a maze, it's okay, don't be afraid if you don't know what to say. Canary, cry waits. When your brain's in a haze on a headline days, come on, head my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry waits. Canary, cry waits. Oh, canary, cry waits. Oh, the world's changing every day, each and every way you turn. There's another thing to learn. Reading in between the lines, thanking Jesus for our lives, and nice to see His glory shining like the sun. Run the race until it's done. Come on, everyone. Canary, cry waits. Oh, canary, cry waits. When your brain's in a haze and the headline days, come on, I had my way, I can help you out the cage. Canary, cry away.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary cry